I was waiting for like a musical. I'm so used to poor choices. I was like, oh, waiting for like the music intro.
It was like, surprise, we're live. There we go. That's awesome.
Hi,
Mendo.
What's up? I got here just in time. I slid right in.
You did. Well done, my dear.
That's what she said. Ooh.
How is everyone? How is your Sunday evening going?
Pretty good.
Great.
I went grocery shopping with a friend of mine who had a 2-year-old who wanted to play hide and seek in Sam's Club.
Sweet. You know what that's a great plan to do is to get rid of the kid. No, I don't want this kid anymore. Go play.
Basically, man.
Well, and there are so many free samples. Like, you can just feed your kid on all the free samples. My aunt would do that with all 6 of her kids, and then, especially when I was with them, she's like, just go eat, and you will find me later. So we would just like hang out in the food court and get free samples.
That's where we started doing, like, we would go around to the different food samples and we were just feeding her and she just sat, eating.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, well, let me say hi to the chat real fast. So we've got Harley Dave. Thank you so much for being here, sir. We've got Shieldwall. Thank you so much, Shieldwall. I just love that you've like morphed into my streams, and I so appreciate your support, good sir. It really means the world to me. Got Pendragon here. We got Cajun, who said he's going to be lurking. He's got some stuff to do, so I deeply appreciate the lurk. I've got Roman of the Empire here. He's going to be my wrench tonight, so thank you so much, sir. We've got the Thad that shouldn't be. Thank you. I owe you a DM. You sent me some really interesting information on Twitter about Tolkien, and I never responded to you. So I will, at one point, I will respond to you, but thank you so much for being here. And then, of course, we've got Ark and many other people. So, Brian, you figured it out. I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much for being here, Brian. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. So we've got some Lord of the Rings stuff to go. Oh, wait, hold on. Before we start.
There is a light of like glowing glitter on you right now. You saw Brian and lit up like a Christmas tree.
It's true. It's true.
Brian is like, I don't know. He's just like,
Velvety.
What?
He's
like my grandpa who just like takes care of me. He's always there to like, if ever I'm having a bad day and he can tell in my tweets, he will message me and just make sure I'm okay. And like, Brian is just a good man. And if I ever go back to Boston, I'm gonna be sure to meet him and give him a hug because he just always
hug.
Well, he's old enough to be my grandfather, my dear. So
okay, my bad.
All the best sugar daddies are. I'm just kidding. Hi, Brian. We love that you're here.
Don't pick on Brian.
This was the first and last stream
that Brian will ever be here.
No more.
Hey Phil, hey, how you going? What?
Did you say salty?
No, I said Phil.
Sorry.
If anyone is wondering, I think we're all a tiny bit tired this week.
Just a little bit.
Very close to calling off this stream because I, like Tugs, when I said I was in your chat yesterday, I had slept for 4 hours yesterday in my nap. I was so exhausted. I could hardly move yesterday. And then today we're spring deep cleaning our house. And so it's just been nonstop from the moment I woke up this morning till like 3 hours before the stream. I have been doing closets. I've been doing dressers. Like it's been an insanely busy day. So, today is a little bit of a tired day, but it's okay. We're here. And then of course my mother's here. So thank you, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
I have a donation already from Roman.
Everybody behave in the chat. Mom's here. We have to wait.
Yes, my mom is here.
We have to wait for her to go to bed before we can be saucy.
Yes, exactly.
I'll behave.
So Roman for $5. Thank you so much. One of these days I'll get clips to give you guys as thank yous. I will do that eventually. I was not bribed with a trip to London, but I have to say a Troubled Green has has to me one of the best Lord of the Ring content on the interweb. Amazon should have counseled her. Thank you, Roman. I don't know about that, but I appreciate the vote of confidence. And then Salty Texas Sea, thank you for $5 for the hot sundress.
Wait, I didn't hear that. Could you read that one again?
For the hot sundress fund.
Oh my!
Yeah, baby.
Hey, Lasia, when you come visit me, I work at a cute ladies' boutique where we have tons of sundresses.
Oh, I want to come visit you. I want to go shopping.
Yes, we need to have a shopping day. So, definitely a shopping day. That would be fantastic. Hi, Nick. Thank you so much for being here.
What's up?
So, Lord of the Rings. There are so many things to go over.
So many.
This was not an uneventful week so far as news was concerned.
Are we also going to talk about Sister Wives?
No, we're not. We covered that thoroughly. We don't need to go back. Where did you get to? For mine and Nando's
Because you were not there for the yesterday stream where we talked about Sister Wives.
I was popping in and out. I missed that.
Hey, Arxel, you want to go get a beer while these chicks talk about this stuff?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Wait, I want a beer too.
All right. Okay.
I'll take tequila.
Quick recap.
Oh, it's going to be one of those nights. Okay.
Quick recap. Torin married his sister and almost had a kid with her.
Yeah,
he didn't know he married his sister.
I thought we were talking about the show.
No.
No. We were talking about the story of Turin who faced the dragon Glaurung, and turns out he was banging his sister.
Yes.
Solid. Seems legit.
Yes.
He was also a forest pirate.
Yes, he was a forest pirate.
This is true. Anyways, we're not going to get on the subject of sister wives. So,
how are you a forest pirate? What is there to plunder in the forest? I have questions.
So many questions. Why would you want to bang your sister? So many questions.
Well, that makes more sense to me, honestly. Some sisters are really pretty, but also there was like this whole bloodline thing a long time ago. That's realistic. That makes sense to me. Being a pirate in the forest.
Hold on. You encouraged me to watch Firefly. Is that not cowboys in space?
Yeah.
So, okay, how is it a far-fetched to say a pirate in the forest?
Because there's nothing to plunder in the forest.
There's no cows in space.
There's no booty.
The pirates of the forest are called raccoons. Okay, can we just all agree on that?
Yeah.
No, but the whole cowboys in space thing is because we've inhabited other planets.
Where are the cows?
In the future.
Where are the cows?
Actually, there are farms. There's a planet. God, what the heck is the name of the planet? Well, there's Earth, but there's a planet where they've got farms and ranches and there's cows and they just move them. You put them on a spaceship and to the planet. That makes more sense. Sorry. Sorry. I'm going to be quiet now.
Thank you, Harley. Thank you. Someone's got to have my back out there.
I just want to know when Salty's going to break out the silkies.
Stop
Dude,
it.
That's not how I roll.
It's already too late, Elijah. Have you not read the chat? Hashtag Silky's Lives Matters. Please don't kick me from the team.
I will kick you.
I got mine in the mail. They actually fit. I was surprised. I didn't think they were going to fit. But they fit.
Crowdfund a new webcam for Elijah. My webcam is fine. It's the one that's attached to my computer.
It's the interweb. That's what you're probably talking about. Because sometimes you'll freeze for like 2 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that could also we've been having internet issues. So anyways, all right, let's get on to topics. People are here for a reason.
So
yeah. I was about to say, yes.
Absolutely.
sorry. Oh, look at Arwen. I love her. What a queen.
What?
Your background.
Arwen, where's Arwen?
Your background.
Your background.
Yeah, in your background.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That went straight over my head. I apologize.
That is Arwen, right? I'm not crazy.
It is, yeah. That's her facing the ring wraiths. I think that's one of my favorite shots from the Fellowship of the Ring. So, anyways, this is
Nick, we don't talk about the hot tubs. Shh.
I don't know what you're talking about. So apparently Harper is allergic to money. I just, I mean,
you were gonna bring this up.
What?
I was hoping you were going to bring this up.
Yeah, well, I mean, and okay, I'm so happy it seems like it's officially ratioed. I think like we'd be hard pressed to find anyone who's genuinely excited about these covers. But I mean, do you guys think? I mean, I know Salty, you can go first if you want. I mean, do you think that HarperCollins knew that this level of backlash was since they are the official publisher for all things Tolkien? I mean, Tolkien has his own website on HarperCollins.com. Do you think that they expected this level of people being disillusioned with this?
I think that the publishing industry is looking for any way to bring in income. And there were probably people who maybe weren't for this, but when you have a transnational corporation that's willing to partner on you on a pretty big global release, because we can assume this is not limited to North America. Would that be fair? So if there are people who are out there in other countries who are maybe getting these editions at a different price, they want the money. That's what it is. I mean, I find this horrifying. I really do. I still have a pre-order in because I wanted to see if they were going to do what I still think's going to happen, which is they're going to put appendices in that reference back to what happens in the Amazon show. I would love to be wrong about that, but I just have this suspicion they're going to defile Tolkien in any way that they can. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I really do.
Yeah. Like, I find it interesting that they actually did choose what, I thought that was a good term that Nerdrod used on his video today, legacy characters, because I'm sticking to my guns that we're not going to get any promotional material whatsoever of Elrond, of Galadriel, of Celebrimbor, if he even shows up, of anyone that's actually in the Legendarium. I have a feeling that we're going to get only the made-up characters because there has to be some sort of
But that's what they've said. This is going to be about diversity and representation in Middle Earth, and all of the signs from the very beginning in the Vanity Fair article were there. I think a lot of us just didn't think we thought maybe they were just saying that, but I really think that's what 90% of the screen time is going to be, is the untold story through an intersectional lens of the story that Tolkien couldn't write, which of course is just showing the disadvantaged and the downtrodden in victimhood celebration, which is horrifying. But tell me, based upon what we've seen in entertainment, that's a stretch or being fatalistic,
Well, I mean, everything that comes out has the show movie adaptation on it, right? So like the Bridgerton books, they re-released them when the show took off with the cover of actor Daphne and Simon, right? So that's fine. Okay, whatever. I had a Lord of the Rings, the first Lord of the Rings. I had a paperback that had Aragorn on the front instead of these, and then I bought these as a set. And I was like, I donated that one. But that happens. And personally, I hate them. I try to avoid them as much as I can. I think they look tacky and gross. But this is hilarious to me because these events have nothing to do with these. Like, that's a precursor, but that's like taking A New Hope and putting that poster on the Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
Agreed.
Or the Phantom Menace on a new, what? Yeah, they lead up to each other. And I find it hilarious that they had to choose the legacy characters because nobody else is going to sell. Yeah. And even then, the only one I recognized was Sauron.
Yeah. Right. It's like it's one step below putting Rose Tico on an Empire Strikes Back book. It's one step away from it. Can you imagine
if they re-released the Harry Potter novels and they put Fantastic Beasts stuff on it?
Of course,
people would light some people on fire,
me included. I hate those movies. That's a different
I do not like those movies. The publishing industry is replete with the same sorts of people who are running the movies and TV. Yep, they are.
Exactly.
No, they absolutely are. Lady Gravemaster and I can talk about that for days about what is going on in the publishing industry. So no, you're absolutely right. That is what's happening. Hi, Rosie. Thank you so much for being here. We are just getting into our topics, and we are talking about these HarperCollins TV show tie-in covers. That's such a mouthful to say. Thank you so much for being here. Covers. Just put Dumbledore on it and call it a day.
Might as well.
Basically.
Why not, right? He's just basically Gandalf with a different beard, so
more or less. So I'm just curious, what do you guys think they're going to do with the story of Sauron getting captured and made into like a quote unquote, like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but like a servant of like one of the kings of Numenor. Like, I imagine that some people are gonna have some problems with that whole storyline playing out.
It's a chance to make him a sympathetic villain.
It is.
Yes,
And I
absolutely.
think that's the way they're going to go.
Yeah. And I think
Before we
also-
move off this topic, does anyone remember the cover tie-in for The Hobbit, where it shows Bilbo, but it's who's the actor that plays Bilbo in the newest
Martin
Hobbit?
Freeman.
No.
Yeah, it shows him walking through the
Mhm.
Hobbit door.
Mhm.
I remember
Yeah.
when that came out, I was, I think 11. No, I was like 12, 13-ish when that
Oh
came out.
wow.
And so I remember going to a store and seeing that, and I absolutely hated that because I remember the old, like, remember the blue mountains, the Misty
Mhm.
Mountains were blue, and then they had the white caps, the white caps on the top, and then it had a green forest in front of it. I remember that one because that's what I grew up with,
Mhm.
and they had this stupid knockoff, and I was like, this is just, this
Yeah.
looks cheap, it looks horrible, and I look at these and I'm just like, they're just doing the same thing.
Mhm.
They're making a cheap cash grab because they think people are going to want to buy this as some sort of special edition.
But at least that cover had something to do with what was inside of it.
I
Absolutely.
agree.
Yep.
And,
Yeah, no?
and one could make the argument too for the
Love that
Peter
poster.
Jackson movies. There were people who may have been upset that they were putting pictures of Elijah Wood and Sean Astin on it. Now, I'm not taking their side. It makes logical sense, I would say, for a movie. But in this case, these characters, while they do appear obviously in these books, to take them from Tolkien's representation of it, I think, to me, and I think Nerdrotic said it, I thought he had a pretty darn good video today on it, and it's just that they are replacing Tolkien, they are replacing legacy Tolkien with their characters, and
Yes.
I think with the intent to turn it into something else. And I know people have said, well, there must have been a Holocaust where all of the diverse elves and hobbits and everything got away. I think they're doing this deliberately so that when they do remake them, it's going to be exactly the same stuff.
Yep.
You know?
Marcus says, I'm convinced Amazon loves and wants all this bad press. They must really think it's going to bring in big views from all the haters and people that don't want the original lore. Why? Dude, I know.
Nope.
There is
so
that
weird.
saying that no press is bad press.
That's very
Right.
true.
In this case, I think, and I think Maxfield von Priestley said it, is that I think from, again, looking at how many producers and executive producers are involved in this show, that, and it's about 24, and then the writer's room, which has been a revolving door, that all of those people needed to put their imprint and their ideology on it, in addition to what Amazon mandates for all of the shows. Because right after Tom Shippey left is when Amazon dropped the diversity and representation policy right before Tolkien started shooting. So not a tinfoil hat, just connecting the dots, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I wear my tinfoil hat as my normal hat every day now.
I know. I think I need two. I need two now. Yeah.
It's not even made of tinfoil anymore. It's made of like gold and rightness at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Truth.
We have crowns on our heads. It's molded itself into crown.
Yes.
This is a
Yeah, I
proper
have that
Tolkien
one.
book cover.
Oh,
You know?
I don't even. What do these even look like?
These were the ones I read when I was a kid. I also had the older one, the version everyone's familiar with, that are kind of the white cover with that stylized watercolor art.
Yeah.
I have an addition to those too. But these were the ones that I walked around with in
Those
high
are
school.
really pretty tugs.
You know, these are the ones I
Cool.
read. So
Mhm.
I don't know what any of this is. Oh, that's the white tree.
Yeah. So I think those were some of, I think, Tolkien. I mean, I think I'm up to now like 6 or
Man,
7
I am
editions.
so behind,
Well,
y'all.
when-
I had the ebooks, and then I bought these because these like the little box set that I like in Twitter.
Ooh.
If you see like my picture with my little pipe right here, like that was the more recent ones that went on sale. But like I really want to get some like really nice like leather bound covers for
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
series.
I think this is 1994
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's when that
by
edition was
Christopher
going around.
Tolkien. So this is one of the latest updated ones by Chris. And we're calling him Chris because we're buddies at this point. I've heard more about the Tolkiens in the last, I don't know, month than I have in my entire life.
Same
I
here.
feel like
Oh,
Chris
yeah,
and I are BFFs.
So the last direct line to Tolkien, his daughter, was it Patricia, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
Priscilla.
Priscilla.
That was
She
immediately
passed
Mhm.
away. She
Mhm.
passed away, I believe, in January.
Yeah.
So
Was it
that
couple
means
months?
Brilliant
there's
timing.
no one of his direct bloodline to protect his legacy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
as we know, as soon as Christopher died back, I believe it was 2020,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
they immediately started rewriting and
Yeah.
vamping up production
Yeah.
of this series as soon as he died.
That's one of the things that a fan site that nuked me out of their live stream yesterday, and I might have made a video about before this, that they were saying was that if you have an issue with this, take it up with the Tolkien estate. They're the ones who chose the writers.
You mean
Right.
like they did
So-
with Taskmaster, Rosie?
I mean, there's a point, yes, but at the same point, and we'll get into that in the show, I'm sure. There's a lot of deflection going on right now with specific questions, and I believe after again what we saw from the Nerdrotic video, and I know there are other large creators out there who also know things that aren't talking about them yet.
Mhm.
This is Tolkien in name only,
Mhm.
just like Wheel of Time in name only.
Mhm.
And the thing, and
Um,
that's going back to my point real quick, is that's why I think
Yeah.
we're not going to see a single legacy character, any promotional promotional material of legacy characters from here on out, because they have to establish who these people are. Now, like
Absolutely.
you know, with Game of Thrones, I have never watched it or read it. Even I know who Jon Snow is, and I know that
Mhm.
they changed his character arc or his storyline to suit what was going on in the movies. But I know that at the end of the book, that will never be finished. That he's bleeding out in the snow. I even know who Jon Snow is. But up until they said Bronwyn is a single mother in a relationship with an elf who has a kid. Okay, that's
Arondir.
all I need. Yeah, Arondir.
Mhm.
And Arondir is an elf that's in a relationship with a woman, a mortal woman, and it's forbidden. Okay, cool. That's all I need. I think the next bit of promotional material we're going to get are these Brandyfoot Harfoot people. Because
Right.
we have to know who these people are. They can't just throw them at us the opening episode. We've got to have some sort of grounding on who these made-up characters are. We more or less know who Galadriel and Elrond are, but we have the audience is going to have to know something about these characters.
What if only the first 2 episodes are about the characters from the Second Age, and the rest of it are the characters Payne and McKay made up?
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me that they go off on this adventure to find this plot device that they just made up that has nothing to do with the books. Like, these made up characters are going to go look for this made up plot device that have nothing to do with Tolkien, and that's the adventure that we're going to go on.
We might have seen this before in Disney Star Wars. What did they do? Rey Skywalker.
Yep.
Do we
Made
know
up.
how long these episodes will be?
I imagine probably 30 to 45 minutes standard.
I think they're 45. There's only 8 episodes in a season. I think the first ones are longer than the other ones.
So you think
So-
90 minutes, which is like the basic length of a comedy movie, do you think that 90 minutes is going to be enough for them to establish the characters and get some progress made in the Second Age?
I think you
think
have
they
to
were-
go ahead, sorry.
Sorry. We
No,
gotta
go
stop
ahead.
talking at the same time.
Well,
we just
basically-
here every time. I think if they had good writers, you can do it. Look at what
Mhm.
happened with we're going back to Firefly. We've been talking about it. Those episodes were only an hour, and by the end of the first season, everybody was livid that there wasn't more. We fell in love with these characters.
Mhm.
We hated one guy that we hated Jane at the beginning. We fell in love with him by the end of it. He completely did it. Joss Whedon, whatever you think of him now, is a king. Because he came up with all of these stories, Buffy 2, Angel, all these things, and was able to make you fall. You fell in love with Mal the first second you met him. You fell in love with Zoe the first second you met her. Like, he establishes those characters so quickly, and then he develops them over time. So if you had good writers like Joss was back in the day, oh yeah, absolutely, bring it all day long. But the writers nowadays, they don't do that anymore. They're too busy checking off lists, whatever that list is. Sometimes it's a gender thing, sometimes it's a race thing, sometimes it's we need this MacGuffin and this Deus Ex Machina and like all this stuff, and they check those boxes instead of focusing on this, which is what we really relate to. Like, I do not care that she went and lifted a bunch of rocks,
I know.
but
I
we have
agree.
to have the rocks there. But that's all we can get to is the rocks. We gotta get to the rocks. What? No, who cares? You know, it just we don't have writers anymore like that. They're all old and washed up.
Well, if you think about, like, granted, I didn't watch Loki, but if you look at Loki, like they used Loki as the tie-in for female Loki, and then like it basically the rest of it was how can we make people love female Loki? But we're going to use the real Loki as the way for you to like, oh look, we got real Loki. Now you need to like female Loki because real Loki likes female Loki, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine that they're going to use that.
Yeah.
I would agree.
And you know, like even that that made up elf that we talked about on my very first stream, that his name is literally Daddy in Elvish, who's going on a search for a talisman. Yeah. What does that remind you of?
Is that the one that becomes a leader of a band of orcs?
Yes.
It's probably the
Is this the elf
orc.
of color?
No, so that's Arondir. This is Arda. No, how do you say it?
Ada or Adar. Something
Adar.
like that.
Yeah, something. I'm trying to think of how Auron says it, but she says it so softly I can't really hear it. But yeah, so his name literally means daddy in Elvish, and he's going on a quest for a talisman, which is the best of my knowledge never happens in any of the books. So we already have a quest for a talisman right out of the gate.
Well, and we're going to have a quest using the hobbits too. Yes. I mean, it's just going to be cut and paste. And I think much in the same way, because let's be honest. I mean, Payne and McKay are acolytes of the bad reboot, bad robot methodology, which is J.J. Abrams' mystery box bullshit. And you see it with Akiva Goldsmith. You see it with Kurtzman in Star Trek. Why do we think that Payne and McKay, who were probably bad photocopies of those people, are going to do anything else than the bad robot script here? You know, they're just going to take, I've often said, they're just going to take Post-it note things that somebody told them and say, all right, let's have the hobbits do this again. Let's have, and let's have sympathetic orcs and, like that, and then
Sauron's not actually a bad guy.
No.
Oh, that's going to happen for sure.
Yeah.
It'll be Elrond or Gladriel's fault that he went bad. Watch.
Yes, it will. It absolutely
Sauron
will.
just has Daddy Melkor issues, man.
Daddy Melkor. Wow. I never would have thought I would have heard that.
So we're up to Sister Wives and Daddy Melkor. Okay.
What can I say, man? I just bring the craziness.
You know what? If Literary Soul Sisters ever starts making merchandise, I want you to come up with the sayings for our shirts. I'm sorry, Salty. Blame Mando.
I didn't say anything. I'm
what
blinking
they bring me.
I'm blinking in Morse code. It's SOS. So yeah.
Would you like to go into detail about how stupid some of these decisions are, like making an elf the leader of an orc warband, or would you like to talk about Sauron being taken captive, but then most likely going to be made the victim of the quote-unquote Black Numenorians?
The Black Numenorians. That's just going, oh man, that was so deliberate. It was laughably obvious what they were doing with that article. That Black Numenorian thing, that was such bullshit. They're just called the Unfaithful. Why can't you call them the Unfaithful?
There's the faithful, and then there's the unfaithful, and then there's everyone else that also died with the unfaithful.
Yes, that's it. That's all there is.
It's cut and dry.
It is.
Who's Meteor Man?
I'm not sure. Yeah. Rosie, where did that go?
I think Meteor Man has been semi-confirmed.
Oh,
I don't even know who is that character? Like,
what is
Meteor Man? Who is that?
There's a moment at the end of the trailer where a meteor hits Middle Earth, and there's somebody who comes out of it who's got a beard and like frizzy hair. And people are either saying that was Gandalf.
They were thinking Gandalf.
But the wizards don't show up until the Third Age or the end of the Second Age.
Right.
So
maybe that's how it ends. Like how it ends, like the ending of it.
In the trailer. That was like one of the last frames in the trailer.
No, I know, but if it is a wizard, Gandalf or otherwise, maybe that's how, if they're following continuity, let's say, if maybe that's how the show ends. Like it ends on a cliffhanger with the maybe, and they just threw it in there to get everybody talking.
Why would they put that in one of the first trailers, though?
because it's a wrench. It throws a wrench in it to make people go, "What the heck is that? Where would that go?" I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. Where do the wizards come from? Meteors?
No.
No.
So they're essentially the angels of this world, and they go through the different ages and different forms.
Well,
And
They
I would
fall-
say more
they
along the
fall
lines of
like
minor demigod.
No.
fair.
They- essentially falling like an angel. If it
See,
is a wizard.
okay,
No,
so
they came over
you
on ships.
have Eru
was a
Iluvatar, Dugs. You have
Yes.
Eru Iluvatar, which is the god creator of that universe, of Tolkien's universe. Then you have the Ainur, which is the major demigods. They're not as grand as Eru Iluvatar, but then there is also the Maiar, which is the minor demigods. Which is where you
Gandalf,
get Gandalf.
Sauron, Radagast, they are considered Maiar.
Okay. But nobody comes out of a meteor.
No.
Like
Nobody.
they're not
No.
born that way.
No.
Okay,
No.
so this is
Nope.
just like this is me being dramatic, launching
Yes.
into a meteor for no reason. Okay.
Yes.
Basically.
I was like, because I know like there's been interpretations of like Christianity where the angels when they fall they resemble meteors, like supernatural
Right.
that
Yeah.
way they
Yeah.
resemble meteors. So that's when you said angels. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But now I'm confused.
Yeah,
To-
there's
to-
nothing in
to your
Tolkien's
point-
work.
Yeah, go ahead, Mando.
I was going to say there's nothing in Tolkien's work about specifically meteors falling. There is a volcano that does explode, kind of.
Eh.
But that's it.
Also, to your point about Christianity and Catholicism in this work, he specifically stated that no, if you put an allegory in this, then you're doing it wrong.
Well, that's what Christopher Tolkien said too, and I did a video with all those clips. I mean, you couldn't be more clear as to what Tolkien's intention was from his own lips, and then also from the
Mhm.
fierce protector that Christopher was before his death. And there is an exceptionally good documentary done, I think, in '92 called J.R.R. Tolkien, I think, A Portrait in Film. And
Yes.
watch that. It's available free on YouTube. I've taken clips, a lot of people have, that you cannot mistake what Christopher Tolkien says. But
Yeah.
here we are. You know?
Yes,
Yeah,
we are.
allegory. Your allegory, you're doing it wrong. Somebody should have told Zack Snyder that with his Superman references.
Oh, shots
Mhm.
fired. Shots fired. Oh my god.
Oh
Okay.
my.
He could not have been more blatant. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not
Um,
wrong then.
But that there shouldn't be. The faithful were the Kingsmen, exactly. And the Black Numenorians
Mhm.
grew out of the Kingsmen faction left in Middle Earth after the smiting of Numenor. Their power base was in Umbar. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, they're using the term, and because I did look that up, Black Numenorians is a term. This is what they were called. The fact of the matter is, the showrunners are using that term in a very strategic way. That's the issue. I don't care if they were. That's what they're called in Tolkien's lore. Great. They're taking a phrase and using it to their own diversity agenda bullshit. So, real quickly, before I forget, I've got some donations that I need to read. Cajun Corey for $5 donation towards the hot sundress and silkies. I hate you. And then Lulu
Dude.
Blue. Let me read this. Lulu Blue. Love you, darling. Love you, sis. Tugs and Mando. Keep up the hard work. You're doing a great job with a little heart emoji. We love you, darling. We love you so much. So
But if you
Then-
scare us like that again, I'll kill you.
we will
And
get
I
a
will
wet
help.
fish. We will get a wet
Anyway,
fish.
and she will help me. No problems with this one. This one, we're gonna have to be like, no, we got this. It's fine.
You just sit out. Just sit there and watch. You're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. She can
More
carry
you
the
don't know,
wagon
the
while we
better.
have the shovels.
Play the
Okay,
fit.
so-
You're fine.
with my race. So okay, thank you so much, Cajun. I appreciate it. We love you, Lulu. Most definitely, my darling. We love you. Where I saw hi Rhoda Kamish. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, I don't know. Like I think that HarperCollins probably wasn't expecting that, and I just loved y'all who just stepped up and posted pictures of your collection of Tolkien books, whether you have one, whether you have a beat up set from the 80s, whatever it was. I was so happy to see so many people, and I want that set, Tugs. That set is really pretty.
I've had this
Those
for
are cool.
forever. I don't
Those
even
are
remember where I
cool.
got it. Barnes and Noble,
Yeah.
I think. I got it when the movies came out. So
Yeah.
God, this set is.
Yeah.
When the last movie came out, 2003.
For
So
However long that is, 20 years almost. Ha!
you know, right? Don't say that. I feel old now. everyone who stepped up and posted pictures of their collection, just that really warmed my heart to see everyone posting that. But to that point, I want to point out something because, and I've said this, and if you've watched any of my streams, you're going to know where I'm going with this, but I want to show you guys something to drive home a point. Not that one. I'm sharing the wrong screen. Now I just pulled up a couple of examples of this, and so I'm going to share. Dr. Rachel Lindbergh, she retweeted this. Okay, almost 2,000 likes. I'm going to go into her quote. Right, and this one really blew up. I'm going to go into her quote tweets. I've seen so many different covers since 1980. I'm still amazed when people have decided it's their job to call which complete strangers are real fans. Humans suck sometimes. 1 like. We can dislike the cover. I do too, but it's a little extreme to say that if you buy them, you're a Tolkien fan, whatever. 11 likes. Disgraceful. A whole new generation might read the works of Tolkien. 4 likes, which, I want them to. I just want them to buy other covers. This is a prime example of judging a book by its cover. You know, the thing you were always told not to do. 3 likes.
Oh, shut up. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
We are not judging it by the cover because we already know the contents.
Yeah.
And actually, we don't know the contents of this cover because it could be completely changed.
Yes.
This is the same thing that we saw with the Wheel of Time, and obviously you saw it with Star Wars, with Marvel. People who have no attachment to it at all roll in, start claiming it's theirs, trying to get social media clout, find where they can play the victim in something and then call someone the aggressor. It's a tired trope. It really is. And then once this is over, or if this doesn't do very well, they will move on to the next product to consume. They're cultural locusts, and they're actually culturally ignorant, and they just float like pond scum on the top of everything they touch, and they'll be gone, and we'll still be here.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go. Who wants to go first?
Go.
Okay. These exact same quote tweets can be applied to the Wheel of Time. They can be applied to the
Star Wars,
the
Doctor Who
awful sequels, all of the newer types of doctors from Doctor Who. They can be applied to so many different
Marvel
IPs.
now,
Star Trek, Marvel, DC, everything that Gary from Nerdrotic, Ripa, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, everything that they have been talking about for all of these years is being applied now to Lord of the Rings. Something that I never thought would happen. I thought Lord of the Rings was going to be untouchable because I thought the Tolkien estate was honest. I thought that people actually respected Tolkien's work. I thought people weren't going to want to inject their hypocrisy into Tolkien's work. But I've been proven wrong on all 3 counts. It's
about disruption. It's not about creativity, and disruption can take a lot of forms, but disruption at its core is destruction. And even they're intentionally going to harm this property the way they have everything else that we love, because hashtag too white, hashtag too capitalism, hashtag patriarchy. I mean, whatever lunatic list you want to come up with. And it's a damn shame. I mean, but but for the grace of God go I, where I was lucky enough to grow up in a time where these things were looked at as beautiful pieces of escapism. And this, I don't know who these people are. I have some pity for them, but they really, you cannot negotiate with them. They're not interested in equality. They're not interested in dialogue. They're interested in disruption. They just don't know what the hell's on the other side of that,
Tugs, what were you going to say? Because I saw you had your hand up.
I have a hot take.
Ooh.
This is my hot take.
Sweet.
There is no such thing now, with the exception of the girls I'm sure we've all encountered over the years who pretend to be gamer girls and geek girls. I'm not talking about those people. There's no such thing as a fake fan. There's no such thing as a not true fan. There are different levels of fan. You have your newbies like myself, who when the Marvel movies came out, I was like, what the heck? Who are all these people? I knew of X-Men and I knew of Spider-Man, and that was about it. And the Fantastic Four because of the movies. And I was like, who the heck are all these people? So I fell down a rabbit hole and I learned, am I able to quote everything that Iron Man did over the last 80 years? No. But that does not make me a less of a fan.
Yeah.
Agreed.
No, totally. And
if we saw this with Star Wars, right? Because people like the sequels for whatever reason, the younger generation, shiny, all that. We can make fun of them all we want to, but that doesn't mean that they're not Star Wars fans. And I see so many people attack people. I saw it with Game of Thrones. Well, you never read the books. You shouldn't be talking about this show. You have no right. What? Yes, they do. They have every right to. Everybody has every right. I don't think it's fair for this instance, Dr. Rachel and others to call them not real fans because they don't mind the cover of the books. I think that is not fair. I think that if it had been elaborated on and been like, you're not a real Tolkien fan because Tolkien himself said, this shall not happen, and I want this artwork and this, that, and blah, 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 and they're going against what he said, that's a different story. But just because people are like, oh, shiny, I want it, and I need it, I love this series, and I only came into the series 10 minutes ago, it doesn't make them a real fan. I got attacked by my own community when Luke Skywalker showed up in Mandalorian Season 2. Attacked by my own community. Bullied by my own community when I was bawling my eyes out because Luke showed up. All roads lead to Disney Star Wars. I can't believe you like that. You're not a real Star Wars fan. Oh, so much for the EU. Blah, blah, blah. I thought you were an EU fan. I thought you loved Star Wars. Blah, blah. Oh, the tweets that I got from people you all know. That does not make me any less of a fan. It doesn't make people any more of a fan. It makes us you have more dedicated people that are so deep into the lore and we know everything like you guys are. It's amazing. And then you have casual people, and every single one of them is important to make something successful. Where the disconnect comes in is that these people don't know because most of them are so young, and this comes with God. This comes with Star Wars. This comes with, they're only getting the new stuff and they don't understand where it comes from, the old stuff. So when we tweet things, and I'm not calling Dr. Rachel out specifically here, just in general, when we tweet things and we go and find these Raylos and these little people and we quote tweet their tweets and we go, you're so stupid, you shouldn't function because you like this thing, that is not helping. It doesn't help when they do it. It doesn't help when we do it. And as older fans, we're like their parents and we should be teaching them. This goes against Tolkien's wishes and this is garbage. And here is why. And then people can go, oh, wow, you're still upset. And meh, meh. Or they can go, I didn't know that. What else don't I know? Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And this is just where we're at. As somebody who has been attacked, but that way, as somebody who's grew up, and now I didn't watch Star Wars till 1997. So does that make me a fake fan? Because I wasn't there in 1977 when they came out, right? No. You know what I mean? So there's a learning curve for all of it. And I think, and we all do it. I've done it. We've all gone on tirades, and we've gone after people. We've all done it. And it's just, we have to, as older generations who were there, and not just with books and movies, but real life, 9/11, Columbine, all of these things, these kids were not there. They're getting an abridged version. So it's up to us to be like, hey, you're new to the fandom. Here's some really cool things you should check out. Hey, I've never played a Dark Souls game before. So I'm going to consult Mark. Mark's been playing Dark Souls for 16 million years. Okay, cool. I'm going to go to him. Do you know what I mean? So it's our job to be like the mom and dad, the cool uncle, whatever, and be like, I have seen you be in you like Game of Thrones now. That's what I did. You guys like Game of Thrones? Here are some things you need to know. Here are the biggest differences. And this is why people may be upset or why this is this or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, okay, cool. That's where I think a lot of this, and that's where I think the hostility from some people who are reacting is they're getting called these names from everybody from all across the board. They're getting called these names. And what's immediately your reaction when I say salty? You're dumb. I hate you. You're going to go, excuse me, how dare you talk about me like that? And you're going to defend yourself as a defense. I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong.
Sorry, I was checking my camera. I was checking to see if my camera focused.
making sure the focus was working. Yeah.
I thought it was stuck for a minute. Sorry. Thanks for helping me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's automatically a defense. You automatically put your fists up and you're like, whoa, it's because we're coming at you so aggressively. And so I think that also needs to take into consideration. There's all this all out fandom war, and it's been a fandom war for I don't even know how much. And a lot of it is legit. A lot of it is also on both sides. You're coming into my fandom. It's mine. I had it first, and it's this whole dynamic where we just, all of us, and myself included, because I do it too. People are going to people. They're not going to respect things, especially if we come at them. They might respect it if we don't come at them. And we just explain, this is why this is, because this is this, and this is that, blah, 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 blah. There's going to be people who are just too ridiculous to function. We all have it. We have your entertainment people. I just watch it because it's a good time. I don't care. Cool. I don't know. That was my random.
No, first of all, thank you for saying that. And some of what you told me, I didn't know. And that is unfortunate. You raise, I think you raise an important point about how we can get into the business of rage farming without presenting a sort of a more positive spin as to why the hell we love this in the first place, right? And how do we get other people who don't know jack about this and all they're getting is the transnational corporations' really shitty marketing approach and really bad decision making? How do we get them to understand why we love it? That, I think, comes through what you were saying, which is making videos that say why you love something. I'm not going to make this about me. For Wheel of Time, part of the way that I kept my sanity watching what they were doing to a property was pointing out this is what happened in the books and then pointing out on screen how comically wrong it was, and not responding to people who would come after me and attack me personally and call me names, because that's stupid. I think in the case of these book covers, quite honestly, and I think it's the Thad that shouldn't be was pointing it out, is that it has to do with, we have seen everything that we loved being corrupted for a reason. I think it's Marxism. I think it's destruction of Western canon. I think a lot of us are on this edge of what we love and what we know is being deliberately destroyed. And we are we think we are very short on allies, and we think there are very few of us, when really there's a hell of a lot more people out there who think the same way, but they are not in this forum. And we encounter dingbats and lunatics on social media, and sometimes people come into our comments section who just come there to raise hell, right? And the question is, can we ever win them over? I don't know. This is very heated, and I am, with my own Tolkien videos, and I'm still a small and up and coming channel, people from all over the world are telling me how angry they are about what Amazon is doing. And I don't think we're alone, and
well, that was that's why I pulled this up. It's, I mean, how we approached quote tweeting the HarperCollins stuff, and to Dr. Rachel's comment, it's her Twitter, and she can post.
Oh, of course, yes.
But it just to say that, like, the trolls who came after her, and I'm going to bring up the two quote tweets that I got from mine. Where is it? I'm a professional. The trolls who came after me. I don't know if these are bots or if these are real people, but the fact of the matter is, I got almost 300 likes on my tweet. Dr. Rachel had almost 2,000 on hers, and the trolls bots who came after her and said, "You're a dumbass, you're a racist, you're this, you're that." There's no interaction, so there's like. No. They're literally not getting any traction. So the people who are slinging insults, where we're just saying, please don't buy these covers. There are just hundreds of beautiful old covers you can get for half the price at on thriftbook.com.
That look way better. These
look way better.
Go to your small local independent bookshop.
Yeah, support local people. How about that?
Like that red one. That beautiful red one that's from 1965. That was $40 at my local thrift shop.
I know. I'll break into your house and stealing that. I'm not kidding.
He's actually not really in. He's got a green screen right now, and he's actually outside your house, just waiting for you to be done with the stream. Just bust in.
Just Mission Impossible music, just going all over the place.
Like it takes time, but I now have 2 copies. I have 2 sets of these smaller books that have the very stylized watercolors on the front of them. I now have 2 sets of that, just because I'm consistent in going to my thrift shop and finding these gorgeous old copies, because I love restoring old books. But it's just, what is interesting to me is that you're right, Salty. We are not alone. I to this day, I mean, I've been so bad about making content for my own channel. To this day, I have people commenting on my Celeborn video in their languages. I literally have no idea what language it is, and they are but like, if I hit Google Translate, I can infer. They're like, they're doing Tolkien dirty. We're so upset that this is happening. It's just that we're not alone, and that the fandom, and I hear you, Tugs, absolutely, because I will not shit on Disney. Some of the Disney Star Wars books are horribly written, and the editor should have done a better job of catching those mistakes. But like Justice Ireland, I think is her name. She's done she's done a trilogy of Padme book, and I have to admit, I freaking
I've
hate
not read
Padme.
those yet.
But those books gave me so much sympathy for Padme. I loved how she handled the play on words of Queen's Shadow, the first book, the Queen's Shadow, that Padme Amidala, the queen, was a persona, but Padme was a person unto herself. And she really established why Amidala was the way Amidala was and why Padme seemed to be a radically different character. I adored those books because it gave me sympathy for Padme, whom I have not liked from the moment I set eyes on her. I've never liked Padme.
Somebody's never watched the deleted scenes then.
No, I have, and I still don't like her.
Well, just wait until she's the mighty Thor. Just wait until she's the mighty Thor. It'll only, I'm sure you'll love her even more.
Like, Padme was so great because she was feminine, you know, but I mean, that's, you know, Star Wars anyway, but it's, you know, Leia was the same way, but she was feminine. She was strong. She gave up everything, not gave up, but she gave up everything in the sense of in here for Anakin, you know, and all of this stuff. And it just ended up backfiring on her. And it, I love her. I love her.
Okay, here's my issue. I agree with everything you just said. However, you're telling me this is such a rabbit trail. You're telling me that this woman can stand up to tyrants. She can literally stand up to a Sith Lord, although granted she didn't know she was doing that. She can stand up to everyone, but when her husband is having an issue, she can't be like, let's get you some help. We need to get you help. Like, she can't stand up to her own husband.
Okay, it's a red flag. And we've all dated, been in love with, dated, married, whatever, people that we look back and we're like, how did I not see this for who he was or she was for the last 2 years? I have no problems with that.
Yeah.
Somebody who's been in relation, and maybe it's because I have been in relationships to where it was like, no, it's fine.
Well, maybe it's because I haven't been, and I've never had to deal with
it's a very common thing. We any of us who have been in any sort of situation, not abusive or anything, people like to throw that out there, but it's not. He's not abusive.
He's not abusive.
You believe with all of your heart that this person that you fell in love with could never do these things, and then it's too late.
It's also betting on potential, not what's right in front of you, but what you think.
Yes, which a lot of us do. Oh, I can change him, or I can make it fine. The first warning when she should have ran, honestly, was Attack of the Clones when he slaughtered all the Tusken Raiders. But
those were a few red flags.
They do have a red flag. You know, and also it was kind of a big giant crap storm all at once because they had to hide their relationship because the Jedi, as much as I love the Jedi, they are a hot mess. Their rules, like, calm down, bro. You need to chill. But that's where I like the Sith more, is they do overdo it, and that's where this whole idea of the gray Jedi come in, where it feeds off of kind of that both. Anyway, that's another rabbit hole. But yeah, no, Padme. And then other people, well, she just died. I'm like, I'm actually pretty convinced, and it's never been canon, but George has hinted to it, that Palpatine did figure out how to save people from death, quote unquote, and he actually was taking her life force and put it into Anakin.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Why she died so quickly. I honestly believe that. So.
I believe that too. I very much do.
Yes, Harley, it's not all bad. We have good times. And he loved her. And I'm not, but it was like, it's a tragedy. It's very Romeo and Juliet tragedy. And that's what it was from the beginning. It's very Shakespearean. And Also, rewatching Attack of the Clones yesterday, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you saw my video. I'm almost positive too that Palpatine had a vision, a force vision, because the Sith get them too, of the future. And he manipulated everything from that moment on when he says, Obi-Wan. There's 100 Jedi sitting in front of me, but I'm going to pick Obi-Wan to protect Padme. That's suspicious, because he knew he could sense Anakin's feelings for her, and he manipulated the whole thing.
If you read Jedi Quest, Anakin was in Palpatine's office. I think there are 10 or 12 books. Anakin went to Palpatine's office quite often. They were in there, so he watched that boy grow up.
Oh yeah. So he planted all of that stuff. I have no doubt it wouldn't surprise me if George ever realized, or we find notes after he passes or whatever, where it's like Palpatine planted those dreams in Anakin's head of Padme dying, and it was all. It would not surprise me because it just escalated so quickly. It was just good. Anyway, I love her. I'm glad those books made you love her, because Padme is honestly.
What's the name of the stream?
I'm sorry.
What's the name of the stream?
It was related.
What's the name of the stream?
Just the ladies that tend to get
Gosh!
off.
I'll be back later. Thank you for doing live stream. You're doing what? Oh, thank you so much, Rosie. Thank you so much for being here. I deeply appreciate all these new people who are coming in. All right, yes, back to Tolkien. We can have next. Yeah, we'll have a Star Wars stream.
I do have something to say
Oh.
regarding Tugs'
Okay.
hot take. I do agree about the level of fan. I also think that you can separate the fans. There are fans that
Mm.
latch on to Tolkien's letters after The Lord of the Rings was finished. It was published. It had been out for a couple years, and then he had fans write to him, and he wrote back like an author does.
Mhm.
Many authors write to their fans.
It's true.
Just
It was connected. She brought it up. Sorry.
so
Thanks, Cajun.
that is a good one.
I will take
Kagan.
that.
That
It's
is a
my
good
fault.
one. So they latch onto these letters and they hold them like the Holy Grail.
Mm-hmm.
I do not. I don't care one iota about the letters. It does not add anything to the lore. It does not change the Lord of the Rings whatsoever. It does not change the text. It does not change the Hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also have this other group. They learn how to speak Elvish. They learn how to write Elvish.
Yes. Oh
It's
yeah.
true.
I do not care. I don't speak Spanish. I'm not going to learn some made up language like Elvish,
Mm-hmm.
Quenya or whatever it's
yeah.
called. So does that make me less of a fan because I don't care about what Tolkien had to extrapolate on, or if that's even a word?
No.
Yeah, does it make me less of a fan because I don't speak his language that he created?
Right. And look, there are fake, obviously there are fake fans out there. Okay. There are people who they don't resonate. They just see it. I understand where that comes from. I just think that and it's not just in this, it's been happening for years now and across the different fandoms. And we all become so hostile to each other. And you can't like a movie casually anymore. I bring up how I like Morbius and everybody loses their minds. It has nothing to do with the character. Okay. Cool.
I got to admit, maybe it's just me and maybe it's a generational thing. I don't encounter those same things. I don't, Tugs. And that is in no way dismissing at all your experience. What I'm doing is I'm like going, wow. And to me, that is just this really horrifying thing. Now, if somebody's being a shill and somebody does something, I'm going to step and hit them real hard, real fast. But I'm not going to go attack people because they might like something. These book covers are tragic.
They are. They're awful.
They're awful. They're so cheap.
I think what's going on in our fandoms is we have been burned 100 times out of 100 times. And can you fault a lot of us for being, get out of here? We are not letting you take this.
No, absolutely.
I think, and that's not excusing it. I think what we're doing is if we understand the environment, then we know what the dynamic's going to be. And it would be great if we could de-escalate and we could proselytize or we could educate. I can tell you as a guy who's, Gen X, nobody really cares what I have to say about anything. And it kind of sucks because our generation actually should maybe listen to some of the shit we have to say, not all of it, but it's like, it's just, there's this whole other fandom thing that's going on and that's cool. Nobody wants to hear about our love for the animated 77 Hobbit. That's cool. We're just these crazy old men or whatever, women.
I love that Hobbit, by the way.
And it's like, I think this has always happened. What is new to me is that we have these people coming in and stealing what we love, and they're celebrating the destruction of what it is at its core. And I think for a lot of us, we have had it. And for a lot of us, we were over it when they did it to Star Wars, and then to watch every other thing out there it happened to. And again, I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying if we we know what's going on, know.
Hold on. I want to reply to someone in the chat. THT. He says, the point that you tried to make, even if I disagree with it, is subverted by asserting that you don't want to learn some made-up languages. What point was I trying to make, if you're just going to throw that out there? And yes, all languages are made up. All languages are taken from one another. As soon as I said that, I was like, oh, the people in the chat are going to get me. People that are watch this later are going to get me. I don't care. I really don't care. It is a language. Good for them. If you speak it, fine. I'm not going to learn it because I'm not going to learn Spanish. I'm not going to learn Mandarin. I'm not going to learn French. And my point was, and it wasn't even a point, it was a question. Does this make me less of a fan? Because I don't want to learn this. Does this make me less of a fan because I don't want to read what Tolkien had to say? Because when I was a child and I read The Lord of the Rings, I imagined Aragorn, Boromir, Faramir, Theoden. I imagined all of them with beards.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Tolkien says they would be clean shaven. Aragorn, Boromir, and Faramir would be clean shaven because they had elvish blood in them, and elves did not have beards. So does that make me wrong because I still envision them having scruff in my own head?
Yep.
Yeah.
And when there's so many people nowadays, there's a certain level of a hardcore old school fan, like I'll call them that, would actually, or not old school fan, a newer fan that'd be like, well, if you're picking on that exact example, I've seen it on Twitter. Well, Aragorn and Boromir didn't have beards, but they do in the movies. How can you support that? That's against Tolkien's lore. There's points that are being missed. So I think that there's like this animosity on both sides. And also what doesn't help is these younger generations coming into these older things that aren't learning them from, like, when Alasia has kids, her kids are going to know this stuff, right? Salty, if you have kids, they're going to know this stuff. My kids are going to know all the stuff I know about Star Wars, that kind of thing, right? We're going to pass it down. But a lot of these new kids that are coming in, these younger, I keep calling them kids, they're really not, but this younger generation coming in were never taught it or shown it the way that we know it. And so now they're being manipulated. They're only seeing the media side of it.
Yes.
And the media,
like this person.
Yes.
Yeah.
This person, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, and this, like, something like this, I mean, we've seen this over and over.
I can't with this pronoun bullshit. I'm sorry. I just can't do this.
It's not even in the bio.
Right.
I can't do it. I guess I mean, it sucks because you don't know what, you never want to judge people, but it's like, why are you so desperate to get the attention of people? Like, why should anyone care what you think? Like, that's the point. I mean, maybe it's social media, like there used to be a time when you were asked to speak because you had something important to say or a life lesson to share. Now we just have people who apparently are constantly amped up and have little, I don't know, little icons on their social media page who wake up every day going, how can I get victimhood points? And I'm like, I mean, this person to me, I'm sorry. And maybe it's because I'm a straight, cis, white, hetero, male, all of the bullshit that they say. But it's like, dude, just whatever. Like, who the hell are you? Who cares what you think? You're a moron. I mean, it's harsh, but I look at a lot of life like that. Maybe it's generational.
I think it is.
Sorry, go ahead, Mando.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think it is generational. Because a lot of this generation growing up probably, like, and I could be wrong, had helicopter parents who kind of like shielded them from everything and told them everything you say is precious, dear. You are precious. You are the bestest. You are blah, blah, blah. And so when they go out in the real world and they're like, I have no protection. Like, I don't know how to deal with someone saying I am not the bestest ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I quit teaching. That's why I quit teaching.
Yeah.
So,
and that's why I left university for the same reasons. Like, the thing is that these and these kids also, I mean, this person looks quite young. I mean, they're the social media generation. Like, I didn't have a smartphone until I was 21. And now kids are being handed a smartphone at what, 12? I mean, my sister and I are 10 years apart. So I got my first smartphone. I think I got my first iPhone at 22. So my sister would have been 12. So there's a disconnect between what these kids are being exposed to on social media, and because they literally have the internet at their fingertips, and now they're being sent off to schools and colleges, and mom and dad don't know what's being taught in these rooms, whereas I do. And that's why I'm an advocate for, trade schools, or just stop sending your kids to public colleges unless you know what the teachers are teaching. These are the people that I think they need to be gatekeeped out, and I don't think it's they didn't wake up one day and say, like, I'm going to be an SJW. It's, again, like what I brought up on my last stream. It's that slow drip of indoctrination that happens in schools without mom and dad being present. And it becomes so integral and part of your like almost your DNA. You don't realize what's happened until it's too late. So I mean, like this, I think, you know, this is the antithesis of being worried about what's happening in fandoms. But no, Tugs, I think you're exactly right, because I'm a normie when it comes to Star Trek, and I'm sorry, I liked the films. I did not have like this. I didn't see this massive, huge something was wrong with them, because I am such a normie when it comes to Star Trek, and I was like, wait, someone explain to me what's wrong. I literally don't understand what's wrong, and I like those. I didn't have a problem with those films. So,
I disavow any of this
Sorry.
conversation related to the
I
J.J.
can
Abrams.
respect that, because she
I am in
doesn't
no
know.
related to Alasia in any way.
Nobody, look, I'm going to tell
Oh.
you, as somebody who has all the Star Wars, well, almost all of them, I'm checking off my list. Most of all the expanded universe novels, the only people who knew they existed were hardcore Star Wars fans. I'm talking Star Wars fans that it was May 25th and they would dress up every day and speak Wookiee and speak whatever and like all this stuff. I'm talking those fans. Other than that, like nobody knows about them. I still to this day, I'll be like, Star Wars. I was like, oh yeah, you like the sequels, you like Star Wars and you're looking for something different, go read the Star Wars books. And like, the what? Like, 30 years worth of books. There's 300 of them.
Yeah.
There was a whole thing.
Yeah,
People don't know. They sold well, but most people don't know. You had to have been, you were true.
And well, there's so many of them. It's like, where do I start?
Yes,
And there's
nothing wrong if you look at them, except for like objectively as writing and stuff. I can't. But if you look at them from somebody who's like X-Ray Girl, she's never seen a Star Wars movie in her life, so they're going through them, you know, era by era. And when she gets the sequels, she may come out and say, "I get where you guys are coming from." But I am fine, you know, because she doesn't know the background, because she's never seen them before. She's watching them fresh, brand new, whatever. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to bring up too, and this it clicked for me when you were talking Untamable. So the other thing is our generation, the tail end of us millennials, those of us born in the late 90s, probably to about 92, 93.
92.
Yeah, about that, I would say. And older, Gen X. We also know the value of keeping and holding older things dear to our hearts, passing down a legacy, quote unquote, right? So these new kids, baby millennials and Gen X especially, they were raised in a generation by younger, older boomers that threw stuff away, that we don't want it anymore, just chuck it.
Bingo.
I'm fighting with my husband, we'll get a divorce. They don't know the value of holding on or treasuring. You know, if I were to bring a Gen X or a Gen Z person an old photo album with their yellow pages and nasty, they're gonna go, why don't you just scan all that and put it on your phone? Do you know what I mean? Why are you keeping this? You know what I mean? So there's that generational thing too. Whereas my father was raised by his parents who survived the Depression, World War II. They literally had to hold on to stuff, right? So that's where that huge gap comes from. So all of these babies, these younger fans, these newer fans are coming in a generation that doesn't want to celebrate what came before and the legacy as per se, and hear about going uphill 2 ways, both ways in the snow, because they don't need to. And they don't, technologically wise, objectively, they don't. It's all here, and you can delete it and still go find it. You know what I mean? You don't have to hold on to that.
To their peril.
To their peril. It is. It's very detrimental. We're getting rid of so many things. It's just, and so they don't see it as honoring grandpa or honoring whoever, because they don't have to do any of that. They don't have to go visit grandpa. They can just text him, "Oh, grandpa, I love you." They don't have to do, you know what I mean? They don't have to do all of these things. They don't know it because they're not raised that way. And I think that's a huge one. It's detrimental, and I feel bad for future generations. But I think that's where the huge gap in fandom comes from too.
Agreed.
Where if you notice, those of us, for the most part, that are fighting for these legacies, for George's legacy, for Tolkien's legacy, for whoever's legacy, we're all at least 30 and up.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Very good point. Very good point.
30,
you really hit the nail on the head. And you don't need me to validate you. I just want to say though that, I mean, you said that really, really well, and it's all true. It is all true, and it's a really good, succinct summary of it. Who's this handsome Canadian?
I
guy
know.
you got on your
Is
show?
that just came in? How you
Who?
doing?
I'll claim the Canadian part. Yes, I'm Canadian.
Oh,
It's
I'm
nice to see
good.
you.
I'm good. I've been listening, so I kind of know where you guys are at. So,
Okay, great.
and yeah, I can. What Tugs was saying is 100% true, and that's why, like, I've learned to fix things, electronic things, and I've told
Oh,
the story
yeah.
before, and like, but my teenager who's 17, if he forgets a cord, it's over. Like, that's it. He has to go get another cord.
Yeah.
But you can I've taken cords of other things, spliced them, put them back together,
yeah.
because if this doesn't
still
work,
have
I don't have
cords
this.
from phones I
right.
don't even have anymore.
Multi-tool. You have a multi-tool, you can repair anything. That's all I'm gonna
That's
say.
right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And it's but if I come from the generation of, if you don't fix it, you don't have it,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the same thing with our media, which is why we're so protective of things like
Mhm.
Lord of the Rings, especially for me. And I think what Tugs was saying before too about I think it was Morbius. You were talking about Morbius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the most recent thing I could think of, but yeah.
I think we have to be careful with that too, because there's a lot of people who just hate to hate, and so
Oh yes.
They do,
there's
yes.
an
Yes,
economy
absolutely.
there too, right?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Very well said. Very,
Yes.
very
Oh,
well said.
I think they thrive off of trashing things like Star Trek and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, something that is we hold precious to us for
Well,
all of our
yeah.
individual reasons. And then they just were like, no, I'm going to take that from you, rip it up, stamp on it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
You know, Zax and I were on Purple Valkyrie show a couple of months ago, and we were talking about the price of being a nerd and a geek. It was, they talk about bullying. Let me tell you about bullying in the 80s. Bullying meant
Oh,
getting
yeah.
jumped and getting your ass kicked in the hallway when the teacher saw. Because because you were wearing a Doctor Who scarf, because you were carrying around Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I'm
He's
not
got a
saying that
lightsaber. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I'm
the
not
level
saying
of
that
grief that I got for being a C.S. Lewis fan in high school at a Christian college was just, oh.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like when you have to bleed for something, it's not a fashion that you throw away next season. You know, when you've invested yourself in this and you've actually been jumped by people, or you've been called names or whatever. I mean, like, chronically, not just like somebody on social media said something to you, oh my god, but like actually
Yes.
suffered for it. I mean, it's like, I think that's why some of us are possessive over it, and for other people to just walk in and be like, oh, this is mine now, and where's the trans representation, and where's the Marxism, and why do I not see myself in Tolkien? Like, I think that triggers people,
But I mean, Tugs, I think you're right. I hope that these kids do go read Tolkien, and that if they can get away from the noise, and I think that that's what is essential in this scenario, is that they can get away from the noise, is if they can sit and be like, you know what, this is really good. And like, I can see myself in Otterwin, or I can see myself in Aowen, or I can sympathize with Boromir, because my sister, and I are 10 years apart. I'm 32. My sister's never once watched Lord of the Rings. She mocked me mercilessly for being a nerd and it was all in good fun. She's my little sister. Of course she's going to. She just wasn't that kind of girl growing up. She was very much the hipster, kind of that mentality, excuse me. But then they watched the full extended cut of all 3 films, and she came back to me and she said, Boromir's my favorite character. And I said, why? And she's like, because on the Enneagram, he's the helper. And I sympathized with him so much because he's the helper and he's the same number as me. And she just went off on this long thing. She's super into the Enneagram. I know nothing about it because she's always telling me what my number is. And I'm like, cool. I have no idea what you're saying. It's like you're speaking Spanish.
Is
it's
this
fantastic.
Scientology? Is this
No.
I don't know what that word is.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds
personality
like.
test.
I'm not joining your cult, Elijah.
It's
keep
a
it away from me,
personality
please.
test. It's like the INJ.
Oh yeah,
it's that.
Briggs
it's a new
Meyer.
name for that.
Briggs
Yeah,
Meyer.
Myers-Briggs.
Briggs Myers.
That one too.
So
yeah.
she's super in the Briggs Myers and all that stuff, and so she loves Boromir. And she's like, I cry every time he dies because he's like, he just wanted to help. So she didn't even identify with one of the girls. She's like, I love Boromir. So it's just like, I hope that these kids can get away from the noise and really sit with these books. And again, that's what Literary Soul Sisters is for. It's like, you know, us and Miss Martin Muse, her, Steve Kenobi, and I think Lady Gravemaster are going through the Silmarillion. So we like switch places. Like once they finished the Silmarillion, we switched with them. So they're in the Silmarillion right now, and they're literally just going through it like we are and just explaining why they love it so much. And that's all we're doing. We're just going through and having a good time with these stories because I've never read them, Mindo's never read them, and they are so much fun to read, and I am loving every second of it. And that's why I love that stream. You know what I mean? So I agree with you, Tugs. I hope that we can
read some Tolkien, man. You got some family,
No
you got
kidding.
some drama. Y'all think these modern day drama shows got stuff? Tolkien, it's a Greek tragedy. Just
And the BBC radio dramas, if nothing else,
Yes.
turn on
I'll
a
take
dark
that.
room, go into a dark room, listen to The Hobbit, listen to the Lord of the Rings adaptations. They're absolutely fantastic for those people, and of course, Audible too. You know?
Oh yeah, the new recordings with Andy Serkis doing them. Okay, so hey Max, sorry I can't stand.
Hi, Max.
We love you too. Have a good evening. Real quickly before I forget, I've got some donations from Brian for $10. Okay, let me preface this in saying I'm sorry. I've only ever seen really small thumbnails on Twitter, but I meant that.
Wait! You've only seen really small what again?
Thumbnails, like pictures on Twitter are not that big. Like when
okay.
he's posted selfies, they're so small. So I said like my granddad from a place of deep love. So please know that I was not trying to be like one of those young whippersnappers. A little something from quote granddad, even though I'm only going to be 50 years old on Tuesday. LOL.
He's younger than I am. He's younger than I am.
I'm sorry. I'm one of the worst judges of like that kind of thing you'll ever meet in your life. Just my mom mocks it for me mercilessly. And then $5 from Salty. How do you say
Doviende say it's Doviende se Tovias again.
Thank you.
Say what now?
It's actually
Bless
from
you.
the Robert Jordan books. It's the character of Math Cawthon. It's on his flag from the Band of the Red Hand, and it means time to roll the dice.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Fancy.
I will never be able to say that succinctly ever. Like never. My dyslexic brain will never accept that.
I'm a cunning linguist. You know?
Yes, you are.
I mean,
But he
my
says, for $5, I just love this community. This is that very long name. It wouldn't let me put the username through. That's fine. Thank you so
I'll
much.
say it again. Yeah. It's Doviende se Tovias again. Yep,
yeah,
yep.
I'm never gonna absorb that ever. Sorry.
Me neither.
Can we call you Dovey for short, maybe?
Dovey. There we go. I can pronounce that. And you know what? To that point, I meant to start off Arc. Last time Tugs early in the stream informed me I said your name wrong, like different every single time.
Every single time. Yes.
I am just calling you Arc from here on out. I will never say your name ever again. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Take pity on my dyslexic brain.
I can't pronounce that idea. No, you absolutely are Dovey to me too. If you ever show up in my Twitch chat, you are Dovey.
Yeah. I mean, there are still people who call me the unobtainable life instead of the unattainable life.
Is that from 3PO? I bet that's on 3PO.
No, it was Steph. She still does it.
It's funny.
We got a couple of Cajuns here.
We do. We have quite a few.
Can I address the chat for a second?
Yes, you can. Go for it.
Thank you.
Yes, guys, I have masks everywhere. I collect masks from wherever I travel to, and it's a bit creepy, admittedly, but
It's awesome.
I do like them.
I love it. It's
Is
awesome.
that what's behind you on the wall?
Yeah,
Ooh, are those
Yeah.
tiki
Put those in
masks?
focus. Why
yeah.
See,
Because I set
I
the
told
background
you.
to blur,
It's awesome.
but I
dude.
can unblur if you want.
That's really cool.
That is.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a really
It's-
unique thing to collect.
Yeah.
Australia, Mexico, Cuba.
Wow.
Thank you, Brian B. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Brian B. He
That's
says,
really
yeah,
cool.
that's time to roll the dice. That's motto. Yeah, Matt Cawthon's Band of the Red Hand. It's on his flag. Hail to you, brother. That's right on.
Brian
Sorry.
is awesome. Brian is actually the first person I ever met that told me I need to read Wheel of Time. And he's the one who convinced me to put it on my to be read list. So again, that's next year because I know that's a huge undertaking.
Yeah. Yeah, the first book, I mean, he really did write it. He was heavily inspired by Tolkien. He was tentative in his first book, but after the second book, it just goes off like a rocket. It's a
Yeah.
great series.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
One of these I
Um,
shall also
there,
one of these days I'll
nice.
read those books as well, and the Witcher
Ooh.
series, and more Star Wars books, and all of the other things. All of the
That is so
things.
cool. Which one is from Australia?
This one.
That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
really cool.
I told you,
That is
dude. Those
cool.
are so cool. Yeah.
I-
That
I
one's
try to
kind of
get-
creepy though. That one creeps me out.
Which one? Which one's
Oh
creepy?
gosh, the one with the big smile.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that one.
Cuba.
That one, yeah.
So that one has a really cool story because I try to get them all hand carved if I can, and I met the guy as he was making that
Oh.
in Verdero, and he was it was awesome. Spent the day hanging out around. He showed me his workshop and gave my wife and I a bit of a tour, and yeah, then took it home. So
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I love that. What a unique collection.
That's really
Thank you.
unique. That's
And I'm
really
assuming
cool.
they all have like different meanings and what they represent. That's awesome.
they do, and some of them I actually can't find. Like I have one from Hawaii that it's like I don't know if it's really. I thought it was a god, but I think it's kind of just like a tourist god. I don't think it's a real god.
There's specifically a god for tourists.
It's the deity of good tipping in Hawaii. That's what it
Pretty
is.
much, yeah. Yeah.
It's the meaning of watch this tourist drown in the ocean because he thought he could surf that wave.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or getting
Pretty
eaten by a
much
shark
wallet.
because they wanted to swim out to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever come to If you ever-
Actophilia?
oh man, I would never have gotten that ever.
Is that how you say that? Actophilia?
Actophilia.
Actophilia?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. Yeah,
Sure, Tug.
Chick-fil-A.
Actop.
that one.
I bet you that's
Actophilia.
Cajun right there.
That's what I'm saying.
How you say it?
If you ever come into Mexico, I will take you up to Santa Fe and we'll get you another mask because they're like
Oh, the Native
Navajo.
American mask.
Yeah. Like,
Ooh,
I would
yeah.
love that.
Stuff.
Santa Fe
I
is
would love
awesome,
that.
man.
Yeah, Santa Fe is great. I mean, you walk into every store and it's so left leaning, the floor is tilted, but you know. you get through it.
That's when you know it's a good shop. When they're super clean, super nice, it's questionable. But when it's like some hole in the wall place, stuff falling from the ceiling, you know that's keeper.
It ain't Netflix and chill. No, we're more or less talking about Lord of the Rings, but thank you
We're
for
supposed
so
to
much
be.
for being here. We're supposed to be, but that's what's nice about these chill streams. I appreciate these, but getting back on topic.
Netflix and chill is Max's man cave on Mondays.
There you go. Salty, did you happen to drop that
Which
Did I
one
say
do you
your
want?
name?
to all of the fan sites that went to a certain place in England?
Oh
W-
my.
When you say all of them, it's so specific. I'll give you this one first. How about that?
Yeah,
I
no,
think
this is
a
fine.
good-
This
Okay.
is a good one to start with.
There you go.
So, I mean,
I'm very sad about that one. I'm very sad about that one.
I am
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
I am too. And I mean, like, not to be, you know, a lot of people have talked about this. It's a lot of people have it is Shield Wall. A lot of people have gone over this, but I mean, like, I'm just sad. I'm not necessarily mad. I know, Salty, you probably have a different take, but I'm just sad
Maybe.
that at the end of the day, it just seems like they're not going to stand by the professor.
But we've seen this before. This
Yeah.
and Zach's jump in on this, man. We saw all this with the Wheel of Time too, and in the same playbook is starting happening now. If you spoke out about the Wheel of Time and you didn't like what was being done, then you were istophobe, misogynist, afraid, you know, all the bullshit, right? And now what we're seeing with this, what's crazy about what's happening with the Rings of Power, in my opinion, in my direct experience, is that the hostility started the moment that they put these tweets out. It
Mhm.
wasn't like it took a little while. They started blocking fans and coming down on them hard. And then on the live stream that I went to yesterday was someone who was was a Tolkien group that actually reached out to me and said they wanted to talk to me. When I went into their thing, I got nuked out of it, and I did make a video. Watch it later. But it's just to me, and this is just an opinion, I think Amazon has told them to go on the offensive and be aggressive and to block people. and to do what they're doing. I think that they've reached the point of desperation here, and these fan sites probably didn't read all the way through the NDAs, but these NDAs seem really punitive because they can't even give us a date when they can tell us anything further. And people are trying to ask, and they literally can't say anything at all.
So you know for certain that they signed NDAs?
Oh, you have
Yes.
to.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
There is one of these
Yeah.
influencers
Yeah.
is a guy named Knew Better Do Better. It's a weird username, I know, but he said, "This is what I can say about this." As soon as he said the word "can," I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's an NDA. You're just going to say what Amazon wants."
Yeah, and there was other language in one of those live streams yesterday where it's like, we can't even tell you what we can't tell you.
Wow.
That seems like a very strict
It's like
NDA.
you don't work for the NSA, guys.
Oh, we don't talk about John Campia here. What?
Yeah.
All they're allowed to say is, I went from cautiously optimistic to excited. That's all they can say.
I bet you when they got there in their little goodie bag, there was a pamphlet of phrases and words they could say, and excited, hopeful, and optimistic were probably big, bold letters on each page.
Yeah, because they all say optimistic. All of them.
Yeah.
Every single tweet said optimistic.
Thank you. Exactly. They all said the same exact things. My confidence in the showrunners has gone up. It's always like they really know their Tolkien. You guys, it's going to be different, but just give it a chance. It's all the same people say all the same things.
So there's sometimes, and I think this is because it's the same terminology, so it's possible. Sometimes when you go to a screening or something like this, if they and this is just watching my marketing background from watching the hotels, is if you have something that you are not allowed to have anybody talk about, but they have to talk about it, especially because it's on social media, you give them key phrases.
Yeah, bullet points,
and
then
they
tell
can
them
use those key phrases.
Yeah.
Optimistic,
Yep.
follows the lore, whatever.
Yeah.
So
It's
I think that's what they're all
knowledgeable.
using the same key phrase. The way too many key phrases that are the same. They're not bots. That's another way you can tell bots. And they're not bots. So that tells me they gave them a list for when you have to post on social media, because we know you are going to, and you can't say anything. Here's your key phrases.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which makes me kind of scared. With such a strict NDA, what are they hiding in my, that's just where my brain goes. Is is this really so bad that you have to tell these people don't say anything or we will do something to you?
There's always an embargo. Oh, that's beautiful artwork. I don't know who
we
that's
also
supposed to
have
be,
a
but it's
perfect
gorgeous.
example with the actual Tolkien scholar. I forget his name. Was it Shippey? Is that his
Tom
name?
Shippey. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He got nuked because he said what he said. I forget exactly what it was.
So this is the official story, and in my opinion, I don't believe a damn word of it. Tom Shippey went and talked to the German Tolkien Society. He did a radio interview, and he said something vague about Amazon not necessarily following something, and that was it. It was very vague, and supposedly that is why Amazon got rid of Tom Shippey and brought in the other Tolkien experts, which I don't believe at all, because that happened at the same time that they also got rid of John Howe. Now, what I'm confused about is that John Howe is talking like he's still the art director for this when he was replaced by the art director who did the Chronicles of Narnia films, and you can check all this on IMDb. So it's full damage control mode. It's grab assing. None of this stuff makes sense. And at this point, it really just looks like they're pulling out all the stops because they know what they've done. They can't recover from. And
there's that too. Yeah.
But
there's this too.
Just my opinion.
Why are they using the person from Chronicles of Narnia stuff? There's a reason that besides the first movie, the other movies failed. And part of it was because of the design of Aslan. Yeah. Now we're starting to get into my territory.
I like the second movie. But it's been a while since I've seen it, so I might not. Caspian?
Toxic fandom. Toxic fandom.
How much they took from the books versus what they changed. Very ridiculous. They didn't have to change anything from the books. I'm not going to go on my rant, but my specialty is C.S. Lewis, and Tolkien is you can't know C.S. Lewis without talking about Tolkien. So that's
true.
That's where my tie into all of this is.
I agree.
Have you started listening to Civil War yet?
What?
Who?
Have you started listening to Civil War yet?
Oh no, I got sucked down the rabbit hole of Redeeming Love, which Michelle from Force
I
of
gotta
Light
read that.
Entertainment suggested I read because we got on some thing on Instagram one day.
You're
and she's
reading
like,
a romance book?
Hey, Zach, how
I
you doing?
am.
How you
It's
doing,
based
Zach?
off the book of
What are you-
Hosea. It's based off the
Hey.
it's based off the book of Hosea, and it is so sad. It is so heartbreakingly, gut-wrenchingly sad. It's awful, and I'm like, why am I putting myself through this?
Have you read it? You should read it.
No, I've never heard of it until the movie.
I've read the book 5 times, and I don't read romance
Oh.
novels.
This sounds like my
No,
experience
but
with Doctor
my
Strange.
point
too.
was, it was related. It was related. C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
Was going
No,
off the-
Right.
I'm going to start Civil War as soon as I get through with Redeeming Love, because I'm sure I'm going to need something to help heal my heart after this just
So
got
when
wrenching
Civil
story.
War came out, so my big problem of being a semi-normie, my bad, but okay, is every time, especially Marvel, right? As later on in the Marvel movies and stuff, people are like, that's not how that works in the comics. That's not how that works in the comics. That's not how they did this in the comics. Now, one thing I will say, for the most part, at least the first 2 phases of Marvel, I'll give the first 2. If I were to go in and watch an Iron Man movie, and I go, oh my God, I love Iron Man. This is my new favorite character. I want to know everything about him. And I go to the comic book store and I say, I want to learn about Iron Man. And they give me the comics that are on the wall about Iron Man. The Iron Man I saw on screen, the Iron Man in the comic book, is the same Iron Man. Their personalities are the same. The same swagger, the same sarcasm, the same whatever, blah, blah, blah. They changed his origin story. They made it through the Iraq War. Okay, fine. They changed little things to make it more relevant. Sure, okay. Right? So, and then you could do that with most of the characters for the longest time. Civil War comes out and all my Marvel people lost their minds because Civil War, the comic book, is extreme, and I mean extremely different from Civil War, the movie. And everybody lost their minds. And so for me, I was like, well, they can't do this, and this in the movie because we don't have these characters, or we don't have this storyline, or we don't have this. So like they took liberties to change and go their own path. And you can't have it both ways. If you want them to stay true to some things, at least the character lore, and go this way, but then you are mad because they follow their own path and taking inspiration from Civil War. It's kind of like, so that's how I feel my circle back was. That's kind of how I felt with Caspian, at least at the time. I haven't seen it in a million years. But it was more of like, okay, well, this is how they did the first movie. Not that I agree with it, but this is how they did the first movie. They can only go this direction. They can't take a hard left. You know what I mean? Or a hard right. They can't. Right. And that was what Civil War is about. So when you listen to it, you'll understand what I mean. But yeah, that's where I was going with it.
Right.
What about a pool? What?
No, it's just we were going to escape from the estrogen army and go do guys.
Circle back. We're fine. I
got a question for you guys, because I heard you talking about this earlier and I missed this part of the conversation. But do you think they would have been better to have just used all original characters, use the same setting, but run parallel to the events as they're written, instead of including characters who are kind of like the characters that are in the books?
Like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. It would, but they don't have the talent to write that. You know, where you have characters who are occurring parallel to the main drama of the Second Age. Yeah.
Yeah. See that. Was that that video game?
Yep.
Played it.
I remember that.
Xbox.
Was it Whoopi Goldberg?
Whilst you're thinking of that, I would just like to point out that there is a budding bromance between Brian and Roman going on, and I'm here for it.
Oh,
So you guys are making friends.
Yes.
Nice.
Also, I must meet Roman in person and his lovely wife, because apparently she's also a big C.S. Lewis fan, and we need more C.S. Lewis fans.
My brother
There
is
you
a
go.
huge C.S. Lewis fan.
That's the attitude I'm here for. That was my point too, Roman,
Yeah.
and I got hit on it for it. I was like, what? You guys can't expect everything to be exact, boom, boom, boom. But like, come on, let's take a step back and logically look at this. That was my take on it too. I was like, right, it works for the movies. And then
Something pretty important happens in Civil War in the comic series. They're not going to do in the movies, obviously. I don't want to say what that is, but
yes, that big thing that was never going to happen ever.
Right.
yes,
As much as I might have been fun to see, it was never. Oh my God, the rioting from me. included.
absolutely. Me too.
But they ended up butchering that character later anyway, so I guess it didn't matter.
Yeah, they got around
Right.
to it.
Ark, what did you find? Hold on.
Okay,
real
so
quick, Salty, real
to-
quick.
Zax, is this what you were talking about? The video game is The Lord of the Rings: War in the North. It's from 2006, so it's kind of old, but also in terms of Lord of the Rings content, it's fairly recent. It takes place during the War of the Ring, but it is following three, I believe they are new characters.
Mm.
When I played that back in 2011, I loved the game. So I want to answer yes to your question. Yes, I think if they used all original characters, if it was done right, if the writing was good, I
Yeah.
think it could be done with all original characters running parallel to what happens in the second
I'd be
age.
less annoyed. I honestly,
I think I would be
honest to God
too.
would.
Yeah.
But that way, but then Tolkien isn't subverted. But then we don't address, hashtag too white, hashtag patriarchy, hashtag
Right.
whatever lunatic rant they're off on this one.
Mhm.
You got to hit those ESG scores. You really do. Any fun that is hitting them, of course, is losing money, but you got to hit them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is the bizarro world that we live in. You know.
And
Salty,
also, like,
bring up the page you were going to share. Bring that back up again. I know you have a point with what you wanted to talk about. So go on, Amanda, while he's bringing that up.
well, I was gonna say, like, there are a lot of things that fans and people will forgive if the writing is good. If it's good plot, if it's good writing, there are things that may be against the normal canon, but if it's good, people will give a lot of things a pass.
Yeah.
So, like, say Amazon did just completely, only had, Lord of the Rings in name only, and only used their own original characters, their own original story. They didn't have any, of Tolkien's characters. I feel like we would give them a slight pass if it was going to be good.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
here's your writers.
Oh yeah.
Here's your writers, guys. She wrote Toy Story 4.
Wow.
Which I haven't even seen. I have
There's
no
only
idea.
two
And
stories.
Star Wars Resistance. So
What's
just
Star Wars
What is that?
Yeah, what's
Wait.
I
that?
don't know what that is.
Wait. Now here is Glennice Mullins. They took it off. There it is. Yeah, she was a writer for Star Trek Discovery for a year.
Oh dear
Oh.
God.
That's who's writing your Lord of the Rings, guys. What do
Wow.
you think you're gonna get?
Yeah.
Why do you think we haven't seen images?
Mm-hmm. Or had
This-
any
There's
plot
no
of
tinfoil
anything.
hat here, guys. There's none. And then we've got Helen Shang, and I don't remember what she. Oh no, I remember her. She wrote for Hawaii Five-0 for a year, and then she
but
got
she
Lord of the
also did
Rings.
13 Reasons Why. Although arguably, that's the latest season of 13 Reasons. That's the third season, I think, and not a whole lot of people like that season. So
Yeah. So
That
that's
actually-
who's
Hawaii
writing
Five-0
your
was such
Lord
garbage.
of the Rings.
Garbage.
So they each got to write 2 episodes. And then, of course, you have J.D. McCain. They developed 3 series. And then you have Tolkien only being credited for 4 episodes in an 8-episode season.
That's
No,
strange.
he's right below him though. It says
Well,
4
yeah.
episodes and then 4 episodes.
Yeah, but that's the question, And
What,
the
4
thing
episodes?
is, there's no novel. There's no novel. They have the appendices. What is it? 100 and something pages. It's not a
150,
novel.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even
All right.
of those
Fine.
150, I think they could only probably use 20 pages. Realistically. Because the Hobbit calendar is not gonna factor into this.
Well, I know, but so and let's get back to this. We've got J.R.R. Tolkien twice, which to me would mean that it's sourced. I'm being very generous here. It would be sourced from 2 different Tolkien texts, correct?
Yeah.
And if they only have the appendices, what the hell else can they draw it from? Because I thought they could only draw from the
The
appendices.
Hobbit, maybe?
The Hobbit,
mean,
they
that-
have the rights to the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings and the
I
appendices.
mean, there are all
And
the
there are-
the songs
And
like that they hear in
screwed.
Elrond's house. Those are
Then we're screwed.
second age references. But again, those like Tolkien tells us through Frodo's eyes, like the Song of Gil-galad, that was only 3 verses of a song that should last an entire day. The song that they heard the night that they all met, and I can't remember. I think that song was about Glorfindel, maybe. I can't remember what song it was, but that song we only saw a snippet of, so we don't even have the full song. So the only thing that we've got that are second ages are songs, and like a couple of obscure references. It's like a throwaway sentence here and there. So,
if this is correct, it says that we're going to get Celebrimbor in 8 episodes. That we're going to get a Seal Door
In 8 episodes.
And so this is all just filler. They're not literally going to tell us anything. And I'm going to bet somebody $20 to say that Lenny Henry is going to be the great grandfather of
Bilbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. Actually.
Why do you think that? Because the way he looks, or because he doesn't have any credit?
Because it's Amazon. Because it's
why not?
2022. Because my agenda. I don't know. I mean, it's just. I mean, why do anything?
Well, also Elijah, I feel like in our episode yesterday, it was confirmed that the Harfoot lady is also supposed to be a Baggins.
Well, no, that's the running theory that she's going to be Bilbo's ancestor, because she's taking the place of the Baggins-esque figure within the story to tell said story. So,
but don't forget about Theo. Is Theo a hobbit? I thought Theo. No, seriously.
Theo is Bronwyn's son.
Yeah,
and I don't know how that works because they look like the exact same age. She looks way too young to have a son that old.
Ooh.
So
not that
there's no agenda there. There's no agenda there, is there?
So I don't even know. And how can you have good writing when you have 20 people in a room?
Agreed.
Like, you just can't. You can't. 20 people is too much, because regardless if they care about the lore or not, everybody's going to bring their baggage to the table. Every single one of them.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things come before the story in this. And first of all is diversity and representation in casting. Secondly would be hitting all of the ESG scores. We're going to have inserts for probably, given when this was made, I wouldn't be surprised if there's Orange Man bad symbolism. I'm not kidding, because this damn thing was stuck in production hell for forever. We're probably also going to check all the representation boxes. We're going to have more genders than they have flavors of ice cream at Baskin Robbins, probably. I mean, I don't want these things, and I'm not being negative. I'm not. I don't want it this way, but it's like, it's not going to be Tolkien, and that's kind of it, guys. And it's like, it's just when they tell us, the fact that they called us names and racists and ifs and phobes back in February. And now here we are in May, in the same fan sites that didn't stick up for us then, when the showrunners were calling millions of Tolkien fans around the world
they were
racist.
silent, completely silent.
And now they're like, these guys are so awesome. Nobody is addressing or apologizing for calling us racists and phobes. And we're just going to pretend that didn't happen. I'm not,
I think the most damning part of it right now is that apparently there's 3 or 4 episodes completed that Vanity Fair saw. Is that right? 3 or 4, something like that.
Would not surprise me.
And so they fly people to England from all over the world who are already shills with an NDA attached, and they don't even show them one episode. They show them 20 minutes of footage. Like, why would you do it that way? And then why not, if you have 3 or 4 episodes worth of stuff completed, why not give us an actual trailer? We've seen nothing.
Yeah, there hasn't been since that one trailer, huh? That's right. Good point.
Yeah,
I didn't even make that connection until just now. That's a problem.
It's the Super Bowl.
And Zax, how do we know that the 20 minutes of footage hasn't already been cut?
Mm-hmm.
So that 20 minutes of footage could be spectacular. It could be phenomenal, but it could also be cut.
And this is going up against House of the Dragon.
It is.
House of the Dragon has an advantage, and we talked about it on my own show, that it's coming out almost a full month earlier.
Yeah.
And people, I think it was smart, because I think they're going to get people in. And, I don't get me wrong, I think the marketing approach for House of the Dragon was a dumpster fire too. But yeah, we'll see how this plays.
To be honest, I'm more curious about House of Dragons than I am this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is like Amazon was smart in releasing it. House of Dragon comes out August 21st. And so it's a 2.5-ish week gap.
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually smart on Amazon's part. And I'll give them kudos for it, because if you get into one fantasy show, what's the
Mhm.
first thing you do?
Exactly.
Fantasy shows to watch, and the first thing that's going to pop up is Rings of Power because it's really the only thing on. That was
Right.
actually well done, Amazon. Kudos to you for that. Actually, well done. Well
Yeah.
done. Kudos.
But it's disturbing and sad that we haven't had a second. We should have had a second trailer by now.
yeah, we're
If-
coming
Yeah.
up on.
If not that,
Unless
TV
they're waiting for
spots.
Comic-Con. They might be waiting for San Diego. I don't.
It's
They
true.
might be waiting
No.
for San Diego Comic-Con.
You don't think
Because
so?
Amazon Prime does usually does a huge, and it's the boys one was my favorite, but they usually do a huge Amazon Prime like off out of the convention center in downtown in Gaslamp District somewhere over there, and it's like this huge thing, and you go through each of their shows, and they have sometimes they have screenings. That's how I watched the one with Orlando Bloom, that Carnival Row. They had a big screening that you can, as a Prime member, you got first dibs, like any tickets, like blah blah blah. So they may be waiting for San Diego Comic-Con. Maybe. That would be the only thing I can think of with that. There's not been any marketing. That would be the only, and because that'll give them from July, August, that'll give them a little over 2.5 months.
Because even when Max went to, what was it called, WonderCon or something?
WonderCon.
When Max went to
WonderCon.
WonderCon, he went to the One Ring panel, and it was very mellow compared to what I thought it was going to be. He said
Nobody was there.
and no one
Nobody
was
was
there.
there.
But no one was there. But it was
Yeah.
not a preaching session by any means. It was actually quite bland from what he describes, which I found was interesting. But Salty, I mean, isn't this the gal who went to Oxford? Is this her blog?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were given a sneak peek of some exclusive footage from the first season, which we now know to be 20 minutes, followed by a long Q&A brainwashing session. Oh, wait, Q&A session with a handful of the show's writers and top creative minds.
And you nailed them with
So-
that, Corey, with the
I did.
car salesman. Yeah. In the comments, Fellowship of Fans,
did.
the car salesman. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
But I mean, I wasn't trying to be a dick. I mean,
No.
it's true though. I don't care how nice these guys are. I don't care if they donated their kidneys to help people. I mean, like, that's great. That's not going to change how I look at the quality of their work and what they've done with Tolkien. You can separate the artist from their art. If we couldn't do that, no one would ever want to look at a Picasso because he was an asshole. I mean, let's be honest about it. You know, in this case, it's like this is the last play they have, which is to sell the personalities of the creatives behind this, and it's not working. So I don't know. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. I was gonna do a video, but I just didn't have time. But it is that when a car salesman, actually, I had on Transformers, and no one nail me for Transformers. I just put it on because it was there and I was bored. But that first scene when he's getting Bumblebee, like, used car salesmen run a pretty yarn because they're trying to make a buck. I'm sorry, they just start.
Mm-hmm.
They're
I love that
selling
movie, by the way.
themselves.
I love that movie.
Well,
That's what these Hollywood types do. This is all they do. They schmooze, and they have to schmooze other professional bullshitters. So you get a bunch of civilians in there, and you hand them a bunch of free stuff, and you get to take them to all these fancy places and make them feel special. It's just like if you go to a high-pressure timeshare meeting. They feed you, they get you drunk, they make you laugh, and you're like, oh, these people are so nice. They did so much for me. I guess I have to buy this thing. And is that an unfair generality? Yes. But is it also true? Yes. Right?
There's a reason why stereotypes exist.
There's a reason they're a
It's
meme.
true.
And you know what? I just looked up, I just put into Amazon. I went to Amazon.com and I put in Rings of Power. There is still no merchandise.
I know.
Like-
I look
Oh
every
my
day.
God.
I
Yeah.
just can't believe that
I
we
know.
don't even
I
have.
know.
Yeah,
I mean, the
crazy.
books now are coming out,
It's
but
like Baby
where
Yoda
that's-
all over again.
Sorry?
This is also on your point. On your
Go ahead.
point, I find it amazing that there has been no accidental leaks by any other distributor, because
Right?
Amazon is famous for leaking
Mhm.
things from PlayStation and Xbox and all different types of like video game media. They will leak the new video games, so we'll know ahead of time.
Can I just
Yeah,
call
but
out?
There's none
meanwhile,
for this?
Kenobi's whole leaks have been released.
Can I just call out Rosie Gamgee, who I really, really have liked your takes. Thank you.
Mhm.
Fantastic to see.
It
you
does
here.
work. That's how you guys find wives. You wine and dine us. You're
It's true. It's true.
Let me just
I-
read this thing
I-
real.
I-
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I did have one thing to add on to what you were saying, Salty. George the Giant Slayer
Yep.
was able to be a perfect detective and find out that there was that one cast member that went against the grain, and he was cut out. He was edited out.
Yep.
Amazon is never going to let that happen again.
Nope.
So every single quote unquote influencer or every single
Yeah.
person that got a sneak peek is going to go with their agenda, is going to go with what Amazon wants.
Make no mistake, that NDA probably had some significant punitive damages where there wasn't even arbitration wasn't even allowed. Like they would take everything from these people. And you know, they had an opportunity to go do this. They probably didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was. It's fine, but you could say that about a lot of people who've done questionable things over the years. And I don't resent these people. I don't resent them for getting this free stuff. I think it's great. I think the problem is that the strings attached to this and the risk, the reward is too low for the risk that you take for signing something like this, in my opinion. And you lose all credibility. And I think these sites are realizing within 48 hours of going live with this, that they are losing their core fans and they're never going to get them back. You know, I'm going to read this I'm going to read this real quick and shut up, but because I don't. So this is what I thought was crazy. As I watched the footage, I began to feel immersed in Middle Earth in a way that I hadn't when watching the teaser trailer released earlier this year.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah. And
No kidding.
And why I read this is again, this is very generic. One shot in particular completely took my breath away, and I'm tearing up over and over thinking about this. This just sounds like bullshit to me, guys. I don't mean to be a burnout Gen Xer dude, but it's like this all these sounds like bullet points that they were told to write.
And
You know?
that's
What exactly? Maybe the ladies can answer this. What exactly is breathtaking high beauty?
A drone shot.
When you see something or someone that's so beautiful, it literally
takes your breath away.
Like for me, like something
Henry
that I
Cavill.
can.
Just
Well,
Henry Cavill.
Yes.
Just think Henry Cavill. Yeah.
Yeah,
See?
there you go.
Got
For
it.
me,
Henry Cavill.
Ewan McGregor. Okay.
Yes, Ewan McGregor. But also like
No,
when I
different.
think of breathtaking, like that kind of descriptive language when it comes to like movies or something. In Dune, when Paul has his vision and I can't remember the guy who has to come and like get him from behind and drag him onto the plane that his father's flying, that as they're circling that, like just the cinematography of like the spice catcher going down into the worm, like that was so unbelievably well done. Like that moment was just stunning.
The scene in and I'm gonna bring it up, the scene in The Last Jedi where Holdo goes into hyperspace, that split second where it's dead silent, it's gorgeous. The movie's crap, but that shot
is
of
gorgeous.
I was
Fair.
like I literally I gasped. Like it's a stunning, gorgeous. So
that looked like a
could be an
painting.
example.
Like
It
that
does.
looked like a painting.
Yeah, it looked like a Pink Floyd album cover, you know?
Yeah. And just so it's things like that like, wow, that's really beautiful. Or, you know, that it kind of makes you go, that kind of a I don't know if it happens to guys very often, but it happens to us
I
girls.
think
It
we
does.
might get that from the
Sunsets.
scenery.
Sunsets. Oh,
We may get that from the scenery.
But think about it, when they light the beacons are lit.
oh,
And you watch,
that's breathtaking.
see, and
With the
you just the
music.
cinematic score, and then it just like, and then it's Aragorn like eating a bowl of soup when he looks up and he's like, the beacons are lit. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like that's the best, man.
But
Seriously.
through the
counted.
writing,
Nobody could
writing and the cinematography, that
Yeah.
moment was
Yes.
that was hyped up.
Mhm.
When Gandalf sends Pippin up the rock cliff, we were like, "Oh, is he going to fall? Is he going to get caught? Are the guards going to see him? Are they going to report back to Denethor?"
Yeah.
When Pippin
That
sings,
there was. I don't think that's
Yeah.
ever going to happen in this series.
Yeah.
So the breathtaking high beauty, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that is just
Well,
one
the
of those
thing is,
phrases.
if they're so hyped up, do they not want us to be hyped? Because she literally said, I'm more excited now than when I saw the trailer. So obviously she thought the trailer
me
was
why.
crap in some capacity. Why can't we see it? Like, if you want us to be hyped up, if you need us there to make this to be a success, Why are you not showing
There's-
us?
There's two answers. There's two answers in my opinion. One is they're going to do reshoots, which I don't think they're going to do. And I think the other part is they're trying to frame how to market the next couple of months before this hits to manage down expectations, because expectations have been managed down for the last 4 weeks. Those articles that came out with Sean Astin and the other people talking about it, and even the OneRing.net in one of their posts said, regardless of what this show is and what it looks like, they can never take away Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Now that's not exactly an affirmation, on this property.
Or this ain't your daddy's Tolkien. Like,
What
you mean this? The heck you talking about, Willis?
We didn't even cover that, you guys,
We
with
didn't.
the Empire Magazine thing,
I've
and
got it
Purple
pulled up.
Valkyrie covered. Yeah, pull it up. You guys run with that because it's nuts.
I gotta be honest, I didn't have time to read this, but hold on before I do that, let me because I think it was, who was it? Was it Nerd of the Rings? It's Nerd of the Rings. They had the perfect response to this, and this is the
You need
only
more
thing that
tabs.
I know, right? I do need more tabs. I need to be more confused than I already
Need all
am.
of the tabs.
I got more than that open. Come on.
Someone buy this for
Just
me. I want this so bad. No, I'm kidding. Please don't do that.
Send all of it. All of it.
I bought this. Who comes up with these headlines? Not your dad's Middle Earth immediately makes me think, well, this dad's Middle Earth won 17 Oscars and is the greatest cinematic trilogy of all time. So
yeah. Hashtag too white. Hashtag problematic. Hashtag patriarchy.
yeah.
Hashtag Christian.
Who needs money? Who needs to win awards? It's those ESG scores, right?
Yeah.
And look at who they selected to go. This wasn't an accident. They didn't pick people at random.
Yeah, because I mean, Nerd Roddick, he said in his video this morning that he misplaced his ticket to Oxford. So I just who leads with this? It isn't your dad's Middle Earth.
The same people who say I'll ruin your mythos in a heartbeat.
In a minute, baby. Yeah.
For a minute.
Yeah.
Like
I got what titty.
Like, I don't understand, like,
Hate him.
for these companies, because Amazon is not they're not a stupid company. They know how to make money. I just don't.
Well, you have to define criteria of stupid, because one thing about large corporations is they are Byzantine and complex, and they have to go through committee after thing, and then there's power trips among people, and whatever something started out as the beginning in no way resembles what the hell it is by they're done with it. Like,
Name a telephone.
Pretty
I'm
much.
just like, when I say that they're smart, like, they know how to make money. They did not get to where they are without being smart with making money. And like, the power that fans have, like, fans can make like or break an empire. Like, look what's happening to Disney right now. Like, their stocks are in the toilet, like an all-time low since I don't know when. Like, that is the power that fans have. I don't understand why these companies don't want to harness that and like
we
be like,
don't count. We don't count in this equation. I believe that we are. Oh, how do I say this? We are replaceable. That's as far as I'll go. And that the content they make, the first goal, and I really believe this, is hitting those ESG scores for another agenda. Like, our happiness and fan satisfaction is completely irrelevant. It's just completely irrelevant.
But do you think, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen people talking about that internal memo that was going around at Netflix that, like, you can quit if you don't like, if your fees are hurt, you can quit. Do you think that was a legit memo? Because it's almost like, is this too good to be true? Did they actually put that out?
No. Look at who's on the board of directors.
I don't know. We don't have Netflix. All right, never mind.
Yeah, I don't have Netflix either. The Obamas are on it. There are several very left progressive people on that board of directors who also are the heads of very left investing firms, who are also very involved in the ESG score stuff, who are also involved in crafting what is now called the great narrative, leading to some type of other thing. That's all I'm going to say on your channel. It's not tinfoil hat either. So
yeah,
like we said earlier, tinfoil hats no longer exist. They are crowns on our heads.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
So anyway, just like This is, and I can't believe this is so short. I thought there'd be more. And when I was talking to Purple, she said that there was supposed to be exclusive photos in this, and that all we got was that.
Go to the
recycled-
cover. Go to the cover. We spent 3 hours trying to find out where the hell all these pictures were. Look, world
Chris
exclusive,
Evans?
first look
Yeah.
images, brand new, beneath Thor and Love
Why
and
does
Thunder.
Chris Evans have a bad stash? What is happening? You know what? Wait. Sorry.
You know,
I'm
No,
more
no,
focused
but
on Chris Evans than stupid Lord of the Rings.
I thought it was like a
The Rings of Power.
never mind. Yeah. But there was nothing in this, and I went looking for a physical copy. She reached out to someone in another part of the UK who actually went and found the magazine and took a picture of it. And then the print version is only what you're seeing on the screen. Like there were no new images. And the question is, where did those images go? Because I believe with all of my heart that they were going to show us this diverse world with the Lassoth, with the Middle Earth Eskimos of color that they were talking about, and a lot of things that we wouldn't recognize because they decided to focus on underrepresented, disenfranchised communities within Tolkien's Middle Earth.
That didn't exist.
I still want to know, like, if you scroll all the way up to the top, I still want to know where this image comes from with the statue and the.
I think this is Numenor.
Yeah,
Because
I
this
think
is the
that's kind
mountain
of
in
been
the
more or
background.
less
That's from the
confirmed that
teaser.
this is Numenor.
It's from the teaser trailer.
Was it
Yeah,
that
I was saying
clear
it was
in the
clear.
teaser?
Mm-hmm.
I
It was in
I
the
think
one
it
on
was.
the Super Bowl one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a pan over. So like,
Yeah, it was
this
real
is
quick.
stopped at a very strategic spot because the camera comes up and then zooms quickly over.
Mhm.
But I think that this is Numenor because this is the mountain where they were when they were
Now-
the faithful were worshiping Iluvatar.
Mm-hmm.
That statue looks like absolute trash.
Yeah, it
It looks like
too
it's-
CGI'd.
It looks like the Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah,
All of this
statue-
art direction looks Narnia. It doesn't look Tolkien.
it does not look
It doesn't.
like Tolkien.
It's not Alan Lee. It's not John Howe. I know this is the Second Age. I get all of that, but it doesn't
Mhm.
look like the ruins or the type of things that we saw represented. If you go back to the Fellowship of the Rings when they're fleeing down the river, I don't know. I don't see it.
Well, also, that statue is supposed to remind you of the two statues in Gondor when you're going down the
Exactly.
river.
Mhm.
That's what they're
Exactly.
trying. They're trying to make you believe, like, oh look, we do care. See, we have a callback here. This is where they got
Yeah.
the idea for those
Yeah.
statues. See,
It's-
we're still in the canon.
Oh yeah, the Argonath.
It's post-it notes all on a whiteboard with 23 writers in a room, and somebody grabs a post-it note, and that's it. They don't know what the hell it means. They might watch the movie, and then that's it. That's what we get.
Yeah,
And then
I
I
bet
also
they were
have
like
another
statues
critique.
from Gondor.
I have another critique in this article. It says, if you on the last paragraph, it says, the dwarven kingdom of Moria is not an abandoned mine, and the Grey Havens is not yet an abandoned city. The Grey
Yes.
Havens didn't even exist.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Círdan's,
Círdan,
was in a whole other place. He was at the
Yes.
mouth of the river.
the Grey Havens were established by Círdan after
Mm-hmm.
the sundering
Mm-hmm.
of the world.
Yep. Yeah, Círdan is like in a whole other separate place with the Talari, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Teleri.
Yeah, Talari. Thank you. So yeah, fudge sickle.
So they're saying, and is that a quote from Howe?
I think it is. Yeah,
And he is the art director, or was.
right.
Wow,
I don't
that
know.
is
I-
that is.
I got to get off mute. I pulled up the IMDb page again. He is
Okay.
still not listed in the credits for this show. The same
So
people
how
still
would
are.
he know then?
This is what I keep saying. These things don't make any damn sense. Now, I recognize IMDb. I wouldn't exactly, invest my life savings and all of the data on this.
Isn't
But this-
IMDb owned by Amazon as well?
I think so, and that's why these names appearing the way that they have. It's been ongoing. John Howe is not listed as an executive producer. He is not listed as part of the art direction or any of the design at all. He was there in the beginning when the original writers were together, when Christopher Tolkien was still alive, and when Shippey was still on the project. He
Mhm.
then was asked to leave. I made a video I mean, 4 months, let's just say 4 months ago. And, he had left, he had split. And now the fact they're trotting him out in, I believe, a very disingenuous way, the dude is not credited with one damn role in this. He was sent packing. So I don't know. I can tell you the name of the art director, and it's the same damn one who did all the stuff for Chronicles of Narnia.
Which the movies sucked. Sorry, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The first one was okay. They lost the plot after that.
Yeah.
Even the first one had its faults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
totally.
for another stream.
We can have that on another stream. Harley. Okay. Yes. I know of some who are doing. There are a lot of people who are doing. You know what? I think Nerd Cookies would be a really good place to start. I think she does a lot of lore videos. I know she does a lot of Dune lore because Dune is her thing. But I think she's done quite a bit of lore for Lord of the Rings. So look on Nerd Cookies. I will attempt to compile a list of people. Here's the thing, and here's what's so sad. Nerd of the Rings and Fellowship of the Fans, they know their stuff, like inside and out. Half those people do speak Elvish. Like they know what they are talking about. So I mean, I don't want to tell people who you shouldn't follow. They know their lore. And that, again, that's what makes, if they defend Amazon above defending the professor, that's what's just going to be so sad about this, because they know what should and should not be happening.
It's like you said in that video that we made, on the spur of the moment, with that article from Fellowship of the Fans, and this is 2 weeks ago, where it literally did sound like bullet points from Amazon. Now we know that they had already gone on the trip. Now we know that they had already gone to England. And so I believe it more now than ever that what they did was literally recite the bullet points that they were given. And they probably heard those bullet points at this retreat that they got paid to go to. So, yeah.
No, I don't want to leave. Bicycle.
It's just like, even whenever, because I used to just deep dive into Tolkien lore for fun when I was a few years ago, and like Nerd of the Rings was where I would get my stuff. Like that was the one place that I knew for certain they knew their stuff, and I could get it from a reliable source. And like I know I'm not the only one who, like, several years ago I had only read the books like one time, watched the movies and stuff, and was looking for more Tolkien lore. I know that there are going to be more people that are part of Nerd of the Rings like subscriber group who, after this happens, and which we all say when Rings of Power comes out and it is trash, like I can't imagine what it's going to do to their fan base. Like that's just one fan base. Like there's going to be so many other fan bases that are like, you lied to me. Like
Star Wars, like Star Trek, like Doctor Who, like you could even say the Terminator.
And guess
what?
Wheel
of Time.
Those people are going
Halo?
to come over to us.
Halo?
And then that is when we have to say, yeah, it's fine. You made fun of us when we were right.
Yeah.
But we accept you now.
Yeah, agreed.
You were shown the error of your ways through trial by fire, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to break the illusion of the supposed experts who know better than us on all these things, and trusting all of these experts, on I'm just going to say virtually anything at this point.
Well, and these fan sites are getting savaged in their own comments right now too. So it's already happening.
Well, the Fellowship of
Fans.
That was like the Fellowship of the Fan thing that went on yesterday. Last, what I captured from my video, they got ratioed to hell. They were 150 thumbs down to 110 thumbs up. And these are by their own subscribers.
Yeah.
Guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not pretty. Tugs, did you get a touchdown or something? What happened?
No, I'm sorry. I have the Ranger game. It was their final game against the Penguins. If they lost, they were out of the playoffs, and they just won an OT.
Good, sweet.
They're going to round two by the skin of their teeth. They're not going to make it through round two, but hey, an effort was there.
What?
I'm
sorry. You're speaking pig Latin. What game is this?
Hockey.
It's
hockey.
It's hockey. The playoffs to the Stanley Cup, which is their Super Bowl.
Okay.
They're speaking your language.
And it's best out
They
of
are.
7. And they just won the fourth game, which sends them to round 2. which I don't think they're going to make it through. But against the Penguins, who are a pretty tough team. So good year, you little Rangers. I'm so proud of you. My team is out, so I'm rooting for other people's teams. This is Matt's team. If you know a common idiot, this Rangers are Matt's team. So we're rooting for I'm rooting for his team because mine is out. So
I just want the Penguins to lose. That's all I want.
Well, they've lost.
Yep.
They went to OT and somebody got a penalty, which was their big mistakes. They were down somebody in OT, dum-dums, which you're already shorthanded. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
It's okay. I feel lucky I know a hockey puck from a baseball. I am the most uneducated woman when it comes to any kind of sport.
One is thin and black. The other one's white, round, and it's got some red stitching on it. So
yeah.
They both hurt.
They do.
True. Yeah, they really do.
I've gotten hit in the face with a baseball before. It doesn't feel good.
I have stitches over this eye from baseball. Yeah. Taking
Ouch.
a fastball right in the face. Yep.
The crazy part is Pittsburgh was leading. I'm pretty sure Pittsburgh was leading 3-1 games.
Mm-hmm.
Like and all you need is 4. So they were 1 game away and they botched it. And now they're going home to play golf. Dum-dums.
Okay. Well,
that's our 2-hour mark. Have a good night.
I don't think I'm not enjoying being educated on hockey, which again, Latin. I am fading because again, we've just had a very long week. So
see, chat. I tried to convince her to do a 24-hour stream, and she laughed at me.
Sorry. Johnny. Good Lord, Johnny's like, Tugs, you want to come play Fortnite after Mario Kart's over? I'm like, what's wrong with you?
I know. I was like legitimately worried about his health come hour 4. I was like, are you okay?
Last time I played with I think it was last weekend, he had been going for like 24 hours and I jumped in and he called a stack of tires balloons. He's like, oh, these freaking balloons. And I'm like, balloons? And he goes, oh, they were tires. I'm like, oh, okay.
He's got a problem.
You need a snack and a bed.
Go eat a Snickers. You're not yourself when you're hungry.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Harley brought up a good question.
That's a good question.
Were there any portrayals of sport in Lord of the Rings? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, it was Gimli and Legolas trying to keep sport over who killed the most orcs.
I can go with that. I can
gambling.
Go with that.
I'm sure gambling is probably a thing out in there. But I don't know if it's.
I mean, in the Witcher universe, dwarves are known for gambling and stuff. So why not?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty universal in fantasy. Dwarves are gamblers, and
yeah, I can see that. Especially like the meme and the petty dwarves. I can see that.
Oh, the petty dwarves.
Yeah.
Dwarf tossing.
Dwarf tossing. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only one player though, Aragorn.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I
no.
But the extent that Tolkien thought about things, I'm sure he thought about it at one point. Rather, he wrote that down as a whole other story.
Probably wrote like a note somewhere. Must play sport.
Golf.
David Webb in chat says Gandalf mentioned golf in the movies.
That's true.
I guess that was the
With
Hobbit.
the goblin head. It was Bull Roar Took, I believe.
And that is a line directly from the books. I mean, that is they threw that right out of the book. Yeah. So that's true.
So
good
golf
call,
is
David.
in there.
Good call.
Yeah. Well done, David. I am too tired to remember things.
Of course.
You win.
Men.
Dwarf tossing is the best sport. Yes,
dwarf tossing.
All right, guys. Well, unless Chad has any more questions for us, I would like to wrap this up only because I literally can't absorb anything you guys are saying anymore. So, Tugs, my love, what have you got going on? Where can people find you? All the things.
You can find me on Twitch, that Tug Life, which I probably should put on my name. Anyway, that Tug Life, 2 G's in Tug. That Tug Life on Twitch is mostly where I'm at. You can also find me if you search Geeks and Gamers. Oh, because I could put the link. Geeks and Gamers Poor Choices. On Wednesday, I do with X-Ray Girl, and we talk about reality TV shows and just like life and stuff in general. We just kind of hang out, kind of like this, but more girly topics, relationships, things like that. Not always nerd stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Poor Choices is awesome. So,
and I did just start playing Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah,
which I will, once you get to a certain point, I will absolutely not be watching it because I have never gotten past the 9th sister or the 11th sister, and I'm hoping chat can help me figure out what in the hell is going on with my game, if like my PS4's got a bug in it, if I'm just a terrible player, because I don't want to be spoiled for the end, because up until this point I have not been spoiled on how Jedi Fallen Order ends, so I will not be watching those streams because I don't want to be spoiled. Okay, Mando.
Me.
What you got going on here?
Yeah, I am also primarily on Twitch. I do have a YouTube channel. It is The Untamable Life. Also, my Twitch, I will put my Twitch link in the chat, is twitch.tv/The Untamable Life. I usually play Mario Kart on Mondays, so everyone's welcome. If you have a Switch, you have Mario Kart, and you have a Pulse, you are welcome to my Mario Kart stream tomorrow. I also play on Wednesdays. I play with my friend Nick Titan Aries. We play a game called Valheim, and then I have like a 30-minute snack and break and play Witcher on Wednesdays, my Witcher Wednesday streams, and then Fridays I typically play Fortnite. Saturdays I do Literary Soul Sisters.
You got a lot going on, girl.
I try.
Usually, if Johnny is streaming Fortnite at any other hour besides the middle of the night, I'm probably there.
Mine's is like 2 in the morning. I'm like, dude, I would watch you.
I know. I
Like
can't.
daylight hours. Ark, what you got going on?
Well, I do some streaming over on Twitch like everyone else these days. So it is twitch.tv/Arkasul. It's spelled just like how my name is right there, ARKASULE. So I play Fortnite with Johnny64 a lot. I played with Tugs today along with Johnny, and I do guest. I guess that's what it could be called. I guest on other people's streams where we just run some squads and have a blast playing Fortnite.
Cool.
Awesome sauce. And Ark is going to help me set up my Twitch. This coming week, hopefully.
Freaking finally got.
I know. So
we gotta get you on Fortnite. We gotta get you on. So we can cross, and then I mean, if you want, and the group games are easier to ease into it. If you do like Fortnite, Mario Kart, like to ease into with groups, if you're nervous.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to all the things.
Really,
Brian? So, Salty, what you got going on?
Busy week. Tomorrow at noon, the one and only Heel versus Babyface will be on my channel, along with Purple Valkyrie. The man, that handsome Canadian gentleman sitting next to me will also be there. Of course, Max Veal von Priestley as well, and I'm very lucky and very blessed, and looking forward to talking with Az.
Awesome.
Later in the afternoon, I'm going to be on That 70s Rock Fans channel talking about music. We're going to be talking about progressive rock in the 70s. I was going to be on Yelling at Parked Cars tomorrow night, but it's been moved to Thursday, so check me out there. I will be talking entertainment with Comics Division and all the guys on Thursday night. Oh yeah, and then I got a show Tuesday too, so check out my show on Tuesday as well. So yeah,
I can't wait to meet you, Salty. I'm so excited.
I'm tall. Yeah,
I know.
I'm tall.
No,
you too. And can I just say, Tugs, on that note, it's really great to stream with you. And then also, Untamed Mando, it's been wonderful to watch the mayhem you make with Alasia, and it's nice to do a stream with you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I like chaos. What can I say? I bring
You're
that
good at
flavor
it.
of
You're really
chaos.
good at it. Yeah. And dude, I got to do this. Let's see the dude over here, the Arksel. It's great to work with you too. And then, yeah, I'll shut up, Zax.
So great, Salty. I'm tall. What? You're 6'5". That's a different thing.
Okay, Zax, how tall are you?
6'1".
Okay, because I'm 6 foot. So
Salty's a giant.
All these
Salty
tall
is the
people,
giant.
man.
I know my pastor literally
pretty
said,
tall too.
My pastor literally said this morning he did a whole series on identity and like why women especially should not let social media take over, like influence their lives or how they view themselves. And he's like, did you know that the average for women is 5'3", and I was like, I feel like a giant once again.
You're not.
Oh, are we now lowered to 5'3"? That's the average now. Where it's shorter.
Yeah.
It used to be 5'5".
Yeah, it used to be 5'5".
Really?
You're average,
average.
Alasia. My sister's 5'11" and a half. So you are short, Alasia. Don't worry.
I'm
about
still below average.
Anywho, not to get off on that topic again. Zax, thank you so much for coming on. It's so nice to see your face. I really appreciate you being here. So where can people find you and what you got going on?
You can find me on YouTube. Search Zax7, Zax with the number 7. You find me right away. I'm put out a few videos a week, and I am on Salty's show tomorrow, and then again Tuesday. Yeah, I pop up on Purple shows in the morning sometimes, and whoever will have me, basically.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you got a
Thank
Friday
you very much for
show.
having me. It was great meeting all of you. And yeah, this is fun. This is great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and congratulations on 500 subs. Well deserved.
Yes.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry I couldn't stay longer for your 500. I was dying that night. I was so tired. So, but congratulations, and it looked like that was a really great, fun stream for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. It was great.
That's awesome. Well, I want to say thank you, everyone, for coming out and once again making this such an incredible stream. Again, I'm like just every week I'm gonna be blown away by this support you guys show me. I'm
You're gonna be monetized before the end of the month.
Stop it. Oh, Lord.
Could happen.
by y'all showing
Believe
up.
it.
And the chat, you guys are just, the chat is on fire and every week, and I just so appreciate it. And you guys' knowledge, like that shouldn't be, that your knowledge is always deeply appreciated, sir. So thank you. And so thank you to all my panel members and everything. So yeah, we will be back on next Sunday. I will be better about announcing what topics we'll be talking about, and also asking people, because I was asking people this morning. It was not pretty. So
it's a true story. It's a true
it
story.
is. I'm so sorry. But hopefully
Life happens. Life
a little
happens.
calmer.
We're here.
So,
Yeah.
Yes. So next week, hopefully, things will happen and we'll have lots of things to talk about. I would like to at one point do an all-girl stream and just talk about girly drinks, and you lads can just go get beers and lurk if you so choose. So anyway,
sounds good.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
love
good.
you all. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, blessed night. I hope you guys have a really great week. Don't let the Monday blues get to you, and we will see you later. Bye.
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 Bye.